All
Gotta go
right.
live on the YouTube. Hey, everybody on YouTube. YouTube? Yes, YouTube on Spaced Out Radio. How you doing? I'm the guy, Dave Scott. I'm pretty happy today because I almost died today. Literally, I almost died today, and yeah, I'll tell you that story here in a little bit. But I'm glad to be here, so I'm a little excited. So glad to be here. Really, really glad to be here. Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You. I love my friend Geraldine. She is one of the most amazing people in this world, and we will bring her on momentarily. Let's give the shout outs so far in the chat room tonight. Race fan in gold, music maker in silver, Susie Cutesy, the sultry one in bronze, Dirty Filth, how you doing, man? John Swan and gorgeous Kimberly, good to see you. Hey, James Smith, what's happening, man? Mondak and the gorgeous and talented Becky Belling are here. Burrito, you're looking hungry tonight. Jack Clark and Chris Moe, good to see you. By the way, Chris Moe, nice beard and hair combination. I did get your photo. Thank you so much. Dave Drake, good to see you here. Thank you for strapping on your proton pack for the show. Sassy Sandra, good to see you. Paul John Tavares in Troy, thank you for joining us. Millennium, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. Vinster, always a pleasure to have you here, brother. And the Dirty Road, or the Dirt Road, pardon me, how are you? Brother Eugene in Philly, how you doing, my friend? I love you, man. Richard Elmore in Project Blue Book, good to see you. Nucker, how you doing, man? UFO Garage, that's probably Ben hanging out there. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you back. As we scroll on down. Where did it jump to? I hate it when this thing jumps. I gotta find myself. Oh, yeah, here we go. Mental Pancakes, Focus, good to see you guys. And Anonymous Rex, I did get your email today. I did. But I almost died today. No, that's the truth. I almost died today. So I'll tell you about what happened when we get into the show. The Naikas, how are you? Welcome to our channel for the first time. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stetson John and Jack Anoff, or otherwise known as Jacques Strap around here. How are you? Mary Bone, she's a vegetarian. Mary Bone. The Ronald Penton is here, everyone. The Ronald Penton. Amy O, good to have you here. Thank you for coming on back. You're looking lovely tonight. Hello, lovely Lori. Good to see you. Paul Holland, how are you, Paul Holland? Nice to have you here. Kevin, good to have you back. Dr. Marty, welcome to the show. Yes, the truck chase. Yes, you're right. That's exactly what happened. Fapster, good to see you. And Michael Latuska, nice to have you back, brother. Thank you for coming on in. And I found you through Brian Stabley. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Well, we're glad to have you. Boz Monster, thanks for coming on in. And I think we're caught up so far. And yeah, I almost died today. And I'm pretty excited about that because I've never had that position where literally I almost died due to criminal activity. The Jim Christie is here, everyone. The Jim Christie. Geraldine, by the way, will be signing autographs after the show. You do have to travel to San Francisco to find her somewhere in that city of 4 million people to get her autograph. I don't know where she lives, so I can't give you any insight or information, but she will be signing autographs after the show. And that's all we'll have, signing the autographs today. But hi, Geraldine. How are you?
I'm fantastic. You're so funny. Yeah, definitely come and shout out. Come find me out here in San Francisco, and I will give you a signed autograph.
Exactly. And by the way, she only signs in gold Sharpie, people. Only signs in gold Sharpie. It's true.
That's so funny.
Hey, Cable Guy Matt is here. Remember, you can get your free piece of coaxial cable autographed by Cable Guy Matt. You cannot buy these in stores. However, you do get a free one when you buy a Spaced Out Radio t-shirt by going to facebook.com/the SOR Vault. That'll be changing soon because Geraldine is lovely and making our new website, and it's going to be looking pretty. Who else did I miss here? Worsley, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. The Super Chat is open. It's a great way to support what we do. Once again, if you're new, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. 5 seconds. We're going to get going right now. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, KPNL, and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, we have them free for you by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. One of my favorite people every month is I really love and respect Geraldine Orozco and her job that she does here on The Spiritual You. Now, Geraldine is the owner of Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco, California. She specializes in corporate wellness programs for Silicon Valley tech giants, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Square, Proceps, Biorobotics, and so many more. She has facilitated DNA reprogramming sessions and retreats internationally. She is a well-known speaker, always wanted on the conference circuit. She does many radio shows, and you know what? Soon I can't wait until she finally gets her book done, so that way we can start promoting that. Her website, GeraldineOrozco.com. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Geraldine Orozco, always a pleasure to have you here tonight. How are you?
Oh, I'm so great. Thank you so much for that warm welcome, as always, and it's a pleasure to be here. And hello to everybody on YouTube.
So, as I was saying right before the show, I almost died today.
It's unbelievable.
I almost died, literally, by criminal activity. I know, my little town suffering from criminal activity. You know, recently when we started seeing the graffiti go up on the walls, we knew it was coming. The big city was coming. But literally, so here I am. I got to tell this story, if you don't mind, Geraldine.
Oh, no. Tell us. I need to hear it.
Okay. So it was about 10 o'clock in the morning. I hear this siren go past my office. So I look out the window and I see the conservation officer in his 4x4 truck go racing up the hill on the highway at about like 60, 70 miles an hour. He was flying. So thought nothing of it. Like 20 minutes later, I'm discussing something out in the parking lot of my work with a client of mine, and literally start hearing this really wretched screeching along the road. And I turn behind me and look, and there's a street, and then there's the highway. But on the street, in between my building and my parking lot, it goes my building, my parking lot, then the street, and then the highway. On the street, I hear this wretched screeching. I turn and look along with my client, and there is an old Ford F-350 Super Duty truck with the driver's wheel gone, speeding past us at about 40 miles an hour. And he's like 12 feet from me.
Oh my God.
Back window is shattered out. Okay, the cops come flying around. The guy does a U-turn, goes through the subdivision behind our work, and then comes ripping through the highway, almost takes out 3-4 cars. And then this is all on 5 wheels. So a dually truck has 6 wheels. Wow. You got 2 in the front and 4 in the back. So this guy here, He was running on 5 wheels because the driver's wheel was gone. He drove another 40 some miles with 5 wheels before he finally went in the ditch and the police got him.
Oh my God.
Didn't kill anybody.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Apparently there was a gun involved and there was some bullets flying. So we're trying to find out the news, but damn it, I almost died today. Almost died.
Oh, amazing. We're so glad you're here, Dave, and you're safe, and I can't believe you're getting all the action up there. I've never seen that in my life. And did you hear the story? Did you hear the follow-up? Like, what happened? What was going on?
Well, I don't know. Apparently he must have gotten it must have been a hunting thing, okay? Because the conservation officers, they deal with hunting and fishing. So that guy, when he went racing up, it must have been something like that. Haven't heard anything new about it yet. No, it was a younger guy and a younger young lady who was in the passenger seat. But wow. I don't know how much of a lady she was, because literally it looked like 2 full-grown men in there when they passed me. But yeah, they locked down the school because there was gun reports, and the school is just down the hill. And then they went speeding out of town. They nicked a few vehicles, and apparently they tried to hijack another vehicle at the gas station, and that literally didn't work out very well. So yeah, I almost died. It was pretty cool because I've never had something like that happen.
Oh my God. Well, we're so glad you're here, and what an unbelievable story.
But it ended up well, Geraldine. It ended up well. Let me tell you how. I was on the phone with my dad saying, "Hey, Dad, guess what? I almost died today." Right? And I'm in this parking lot at the mall because I had to go down to the insurance company. And this lady pulls up. This sweet little old lady in this little blue sedan. She pulls up, and she got a big smile on her face. And I'm talking to my dad. My dad hates my beard and hates my hair. Okay? He hates it. Just hates it. He always says to me, "When are you going to shave?" And my response to him is, "When are you going to retire?" Right? I said, "I'll shave when you retire. I'll cut my hair."
How can anyone not like your hair? That's what I don't get.
I think it's jealousy. So this lady pulls up and she goes, "Excuse me, sir. I just wanted to say that you have the nicest beard I have ever seen." And my dad is on the phone hearing this. And I'm like, "Dad, are you hearing this right now?" He's like, "What?" I said, "The lady just pulled over in the car telling me how much my beard makes her happy." And he's like, "Shave it." And I'm like, "Retire." Right? So that's my day. That's my day.
What an exciting day. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. I love it.
How are you? How you been?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a very, very busy month going into March. I can't believe it's March. I haven't had any exciting things like you have. But we've been doing lots of fun projects.
So I gotta ask you, when you are doing these fun projects for you, what are you actually up to? What are you trying to do? Because you kind of talk in code sometimes.
Oh, it's so funny. Okay, well, there is something kind of cool that did happen. The episode that I was on for the Discovery Channel came out a couple weeks ago, on UFO Witness with Ben Hansen. So if you guys want to check that out, we kind of go into the experience, and I was actually put under a lie detector test to see if I was telling the truth about my experience. So it's on Discovery Plus. You guys can check that out. It was a really fun episode to do.
I'm gonna assume you passed.
I did, but you guys have to check it out. You guys have to check it out to see what happened. It was quite interesting. So I have been working on that, and I'm writing my book. I'm working a lot on my book, and I'm working on an application, and I have a startup that I'm doing, which is called Higher Healing, and I am creating a social platform for healers around the world that are looking to connect and provide services on a really high-end vetted level. So it's something kind of that hasn't been done yet, and I'm excited about putting it out. I'm excited about publishing that. So we're going to be pretty live. We're live now, but we're really pushing for total live in about a month. So I've been kind of pushing that out. And yeah, and working on your website, which I'm so excited about. So you're going to have a beautiful new website pretty soon.
I'm
And we'll
looking forward
see.
to that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. So everyone will be able to see a really fun, interactive website with all kinds of, great information and everything you need in one spot. So
It's going to be beautiful. It's going
yeah.
to be beautiful. And thank you for taking the time to help us out. It really just shows the quality of person that you are, that when someone needs help, you step up and help, and I absolutely adore you for it. Thank you.
Oh, Dave, it's my pleasure. And you know what? We love the radio station and the work that you're doing, and I support everything that you do for everyone. I mean, you're such a hard worker, so why wouldn't I? That's insane. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I've also been doing some new paintings. It's been really fun, and yeah, just work. I'm a hypnotherapist and I do DNA reprogramming. So we've been having some incredible sessions with clients, some amazing breakthroughs, experiences. A lot of experiencers are connecting with me, which is very interesting. I've seen a really huge rise. I mean, so many emails from people around the world that are experiencing the phenomena and they want to learn more about it. So we've had some interesting sessions this week.
We haven't talked aliens for a while,
Yeah.
and it just seems that the more and more we go down this road, that more and more people are coming out of the woodwork talking about aliens, their experiences, and what they are going through. Yet there's still so much secrecy, Geraldine, around this topic. For you being a contactee, abductee, hybrid mother, what do you think about all the new people coming out to discuss this topic?
Well, I'm very excited to hear that there are so many people that are coming out to talk about it. I mean, it's the disclosure that we are waiting for, quote unquote, waiting for from whoever it is that we expect to give it to us. I feel like we are that disclosure, and I think the more and more that we come out and we share our stories and we talk about our experiences, the more we can learn. Because every month at my support group, I have a group of these incredible people that come in and they share their stories, Dave, and the stories are just mind blowing. I mean, we hear stories about contacts, about abductions, about this phenomena that's happening. Some people have processed and integrated their experiences, and some people are just learning about it. And some of them don't even have the vocabulary to express what they're going through. So for me, this is just so it's a beautiful thing to see them feeling brave enough to share it, because I think there's such a strong stigma around the phenomena that people don't feel comfortable even talking about it. I mean, even in our circles right now, saying that you have contact with an alien sounds completely outrageous. So what I'm hoping is that very like we kind of gone through these phases. I mean, I think we've kind of been evolving since the 50s and 60s and 70s into some of this phenomena, and my hope is that it becomes something that we can just discuss openly. And I believe that we are bridging a gap between the non-physical that's necessary. I think we've seen that with other phenomena like ghosts and entities and stuff like this. And interdimensional contact is something that deserves a place, for people to talk, feel comfortable sharing.
Geraldine, one of the things that we have never really discussed is the way people come out. Some people
Mhm.
are very shy, very timid. They don't know who to talk to, what they are supposed to talk about, who they could trust, who they can't, because the memories and the experiences are just so um, raw and emotional at times, terrorizing at times, whatever it may be for that individual. Yet we also see a number of people coming out on social media saying, this is what I'm going through in Facebook support groups and
Mhm.
whatever it may be. You know, do you promote the idea of coming out with your experiences on social media? And the reason why I ask that question is because social media can be such a nightmare for a lot of people. You know, attack groups, attack people, trolls, and it's a good place to get beat up for a lot of people if they aren't in the right environment.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, I definitely promote free speech. People need to be able to share their experiences openly, but that knowing that the social media is, with all kinds of schools of thoughts, people from all backgrounds and ideas. So, I mean, you got to be prepared that when you're going to be sharing that, you have to be emotionally and mentally prepared for someone to tell you no, absolutely not, or you're making this up, or it's not true, or it's not possible. So and prepare yourself for that. Prepare yourself for in regards to what you're going to respond to that, and how you're going to deal with that. I mean, I suppose we deal with that same thing in our own families when we come out with this topic. And there's a resistance, and it's a difficult topic to discuss. So I think that anytime that someone is coming out, I really strongly suggest that find a safe place to share these kinds of experiences, because most of us that are coming out are in a very vulnerable state. Some of us are so confused still about the phenomena. We're learning about it, and we might find other people that are already very advanced in their understanding. And I think that the phenomena is a very personal thing. It's a very personal process. We each have to go through our own process of discovery, and in a very cautious and supportive way. So these support groups that are set up for that, I think, are a really great place. And there's many of them. There's many of them all around the world that you guys can connect with in order to share your story. Because go ahead, Dave.
How did you or how do you recommend people to come out on this topic if they're not
Mhm.
comfortable?
Yeah, I think that finding a support group is my number one suggestion, just because you will be surrounded by other people that have had similar experiences, number one. And that in itself is incredibly, incredibly, supportive and psychologically, comforting in a way, because, you're also talking to experts that are leading those groups that have had a lot of experience with other experiencers, and that can help validate and support you in what you're going through and provide you with some kind of an understanding. Another way, I suggest, learning about other people's experiences. If you want to, there's a couple books that are written by other experiencers that can help guide you and understand and help validate your experience as well. And it's always important to find these support groups so that you can share it with someone, because some people live years and years without sharing this experience. It can be very difficult to almost like suppress this part of your personality, and sometimes it becomes damaging over time, where you feel very insecure about yourself, and it begins to affect other parts of your life. So it's important to definitely come out about it, but do it in a safe place. Do it in a support group. And yeah, go ahead.
A lot of people I see on social media, Geraldine, the minute somebody does come out, there's always this main question: was this your first time, or this has probably been going on? Like, all the experts all of a sudden hit, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
start telling well, have you experienced this and that? And they go through a list, and they're like, well, I don't really believe your story, or I believe your story, but there's always a but at the end. How do you get those people, or these new people, or want to tell these new people who are thinking about coming out about their own alien experiences, to stay away from the social media lights who literally believe they know everything?
Yeah. So, and that's such a good point. And again, I want to stress that the idea that, again, these experiences are very personal. They're very personal, and they're for you. They're for you, and for your understanding of yourself, your place in the world, and your connections to these interdimensional aspects of yourself. So I really strongly suggest that, you know, if you're going to put yourself out there, just be prepared for that. And secondary, I think you need to check in to what your intention is for sharing this information publicly. There are some people that, they do share online, and sometimes they do it to get attention. Sometimes they do it because they're desperate, in desperate situations. So just check into that, because you know that whatever intention you're going into this with, is what you're going to get back. If you're doing it for attention, you're going to get attention, but it's probably going to be the wrong kind of attention. And again, you need to go and do your own research. And I know that that can be a little difficult sometimes without guidance. I know that when I first started my journey, I mean, I didn't even know the vocabulary to use in order to research online any of these topics. I typed in alien children or something like this. And so, what came up was very limited unless you know the names of people or this kind of lingo that's within the field. So, you just you learn over time, you discover over time. I also really suggest that if you are having very traumatic experiences, that you seek support, either with a therapist that can assist you in integrating these experiences, either hypnotherapy or some other therapy that can help and integrate these kinds of traumatic experiences. Because the most important part of this is providing mental and emotional support. People that have PTSD or any kind of traumas, people that are dealing with MILABs or military, kind of abductions or any kind of activity like that, or even relationships with people that are not supportive in their families that cause a lot of suffering. That's the priority. So we have to find support for those things first. And it has to be done in a safe and cautious way. So, these are the first steps. Like, you need to mind your emotions and prepare yourself, support yourself in those areas.
Just because someone has had one experience that they can recall, does it automatically mean, as we have 2 minutes to go, that they have had other experiences?
It can. I mean, we really can't put a definite yes or no to that. I mean, it can. And I think that once you have one contact experience, it just there's definitely something there in your lineage, and so there might be more to explore there. So yeah, it really just depends on each individual person. Some people just have a one-time experience. And you can discover more through, your own meditation or hypnotherapy or, just going into some of that.
Weird, because I couldn't imagine just having that one experience and being a one and done. That would be weird.
Yeah. What happens though is that some people, some people are preserving some of those memories. Some of those memories can be very shocking. And so sometimes they put them away, and they put them away to preserve themselves, in some way or another. So we have to be cautious of that. Sometimes people are not meant to know more than just that one memory. And again, I think that these experiences really serve as a bridge between the physical and the non-physical, and it's an invitation to really connect with that part of ourselves. If anything at all, right? Ultimately, this is our ability to kind of tap into our interdimensionality, I think.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
Interdimensionality. There's a word that isn't used enough. Where did you come
That's
up
true.
with that one? Where did you come up with that one? I like
Just
that
made it
one.
up. No.
But
Yeah.
Geraldine, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. And at this point, we usually have to say that Geraldine's website is bayareameditation.com. She's out of San Francisco, California. You can also reach her at GeraldineOrozco.com as well. Geraldine Orozco comes in the first week of every month to kind of break down our Zen and our Chi. Wherever you want to go is where we want to go on this one. So make sure you stay tuned. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You continues right after this. All right, we're clear. You can go grab some water or do what you need to do.
Great. I'll be right back.
All right. And while Geraldine is gone, guess what I got in the mail today? From MightyMooseBeard.com. Mighty Moose Beard Oil. Gary the Dutchman sent me the brand new True North beard oil. Now, this beard oil got me a nice compliment today. Nice compliment. Competition to Grandma Rose down in California. I don't know what the lady's name was, but she pulled me over and said, "Hey, Dave, that is one good-looking beard." And I said, "Thank you." Thank you so much. Because Gary, the Dutchman, who doesn't give a deal for just anybody, is giving Spaced Out Radio listeners $1 off if you use the promo code SOR2019. And his new flavor, or flavor, can we call it a flavor? I don't know. His new beard oil called True North Blend. And Vinster, thank you very much again for the super chats. All right, so all we do here, we're going to test this out. I haven't used this one yet. All right, so we just pump it on out. Make sure you put the lid back on because you don't want to spill this stuff. And it's easy. You can do it with one thumb, right? That's it. And then you rub your hands together. And then you just massage it. Oh, this is nice, Gary. This is nice, Gary the Dutchman. Smells a little woody. Smells like hockey skates. Wood. Oh, this is nice. It's subtle. It's subtle. But you know what? It's going to make my beard shine. Just massage it in. That's all you do, right? Like that. Just massage it in. Right? And then for the ladies, just rub it in your hair. Because it's all natural. There's no chemicals. And it's great for your hair because that way you don't get split ends. You know, keeps your hair nice and shiny and comfortable. That's it. MightyMooseBeard.com. Use promo code SOR2019. Gary the Dutchman's going to give you a deal. You have your choice of what kind you want. The original, Winter Blend, or True North. And there you go. Gary the Dutchman. MightyMooseBeard.com. God, I'm looking pretty good right now. I'm not going to lie. I look pretty damn good. Thanks, Gary. And we got to help Gary. By the way, we got to help Gary the Dutchman out as well. He's got 6 granddaughters, 0 grandsons. 0 grandsons, 6 granddaughters. Now, I know Gary the Dutchman wouldn't trade that for the world, okay, because he is a giant pushover for his grandkids, as any grandfather would be. But man, Gary the Dutchman, you need a grandson. You need a grandson. Will Mighty Moose Beard Oil work on Brillo beards? Because my beard is so coarse. Dude, mine is too. Honestly. Mine, you got one more coming. Is it a girl, Gare? Is it a girl? Hey, Razgriz, how you doing, man? Dave, are the Northern Lights out in BC? They are crazy here tonight. I'll go check. I got like a minute. Hold on. I got nothing.
Right. I'm back.
I know. I had to do a quick run to see if the Northern Lights were out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because
have you been seeing them?
I haven't seen them this year.
Oh.
But one of our listeners, Razgriz, who's in northern Alberta, he's got them there right now. He said they're putting on just a big dance.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, we've got snow clouds. Snow clouds.
Snow clouds.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Snow clouds. You don't know what those are.
I don't know what they are, thankfully. But you get to live in paradise in a winter wonderland, though, which is beautiful.
Geraldine one time saw snow in a book, people.
Oh no, I've been to Tahoe.
I know.
It was beautiful.
I just like bugging you about it because it's fun.
I couldn't live in the snow, though, because then I'd have to shovel all that snow, and I don't know how I'd do.
Mm-hmm. Hold on 1 second, hun. We got 5 seconds. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us in. Really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. And you can rock out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and so much more. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You continues right here on the mighty SOR, Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com. Welcome back.
Hey, everyone.
I forgot to tell you something, Geraldine.
What's that? Tell me.
I am day 3 of quitting caffeine.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
Day 3.
Congratulations.
Day 3.
And what made this incredible choice happen?
I'm fat.
Oh, Dave.
No, I've gained enough weight where my man boobs are starting to grow man boobs. And so I decided at that point it was time. No, the serious answer towards that is that I had a really profound dream about a week and a half ago. 2 weeks ago that I died. And
oh my gosh.
And literally it scared me. Now the listeners probably heard this before, but I'll tell you because we're brand new here on this, where literally I felt my body being thrown into a lake, like a water burial. And I was still in my body, and I was watching through my eyes, my body. I could feel the water hitting. It was a nice warm lake, at least, and there are no sharks in there, thank goodness. And I was watching, I literally am watching from my body sink. And I remember thinking, I need to kick, I need to breathe, because I felt like I was holding my breath. But then I realized that I was actually dead because I couldn't move my arms or my legs. And I was sinking and sinking. I felt my back hit the ground, probably 30, 40 feet deep. And I was just lying there staring up at what used to be blue sky, which is now a dot of light in the darkness and the greenness of the water. And I think I may have even seen a trout swim by. I don't know. But, I remember thinking that I thought the soul was supposed to leave the body. And my soul was stuck there. And I was like, literally, am I here forever? Like, am I here until my body decomposes? Like, what is going on? Like, this sucks, right? So I just decided the other day that I was tired of drinking ice caps from Tim Hortons, as much as I am addicted to them. And I figured I'm going to go with something that I'm very much addicted to, much like I was addicted to drinking Pepsi. And I just said, that's enough. I'm done.
Wow, that is a profound dream. I mean, if you really go into analysis for all that, that's incredible.
Okay, do you analyze dreams?
Well, a little bit, not a lot. I mean, all I know, I can tell you just briefly from this dream about water. I mean, water represents emotions, and it's interesting because it's like, you feel like you're drowning or dying within these deep waters. And whether they were wild, moving waters or very still waters will tell you a lot about how you are relating with your emotions as well. But it was so vivid. And so was the water murky and dark?
No, it was when you go, maybe you don't because you don't want to wreck your beautiful hair. But for some of us, normal folk, we'll go swimming in a lake. And it was just like in a lake where the water is a little bit green and you could see in it and everything. And it was very calm. There was like nothing around, and I just sunk down to the sand at the bottom.
That's amazing.
There was no rocks. It was quite gentle. And I just laying up there and I'm thinking, I'm dead. Like, wow, like what do I do now? Like literally I remember thinking, well, what am I supposed to do now? Do I just sit here for the next, millennia doing nothing?
Wow.
Because this will suck.
So profound. And today you had almost near death. I mean, you almost got hit by this car. I mean, that's pretty interesting. Maybe that's what the premonition was, dodging this thing today.
I don't know, but I could tell you this. I weaned myself off. I was on large ice caps, and I would drink like 2 or 3 of them a day. All right. And then I went down to mediums, and then I went down to smalls, and then I cut myself off.
Wow, I'm so proud of
Day
you.
3.
That is so exciting. I can't wait to see. I feel like we need to throw you a party once it's completely done.
As we should in Las Vegas.
Yes, there you go.
In Las Vegas. And I will have a new shirt and maybe a great pair of socks to go along with that.
Ooh, fancy.
I know how to roll.
I love it.
I know how to roll. I do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I need a look. Honestly, I need a look.
You have a look.
No, see, you have a look. I don't have a look. I just grab whatever's in my closet and hope it matches. You, on the flip side, Miss Fashion, who has like 386 pairs of shoes, literally, you have a bedroom full of shoes. I've never been to your house, and I can already tell. And you have style. You have grace. Rita Hayworth gave good face. I don't know, Madonna's Vogue kind of thing.
You're so sweet. That's so kind. But that's a style too, to be able to throw something together and not match. That's a style. I dig it. I think it's great.
No, I need a new style. I need some new clothes.
Come on, YouTube. YouTube better tell us what's up.
I need some new clothes. I really do need some new clothes because I'm a sweatpant kind of guy. Anyways, let's get back to aliens here.
Okay.
Let's get back to aliens. I had a conversation with Lou Elizondo on Spaced Out Radio a week ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And basically asked him, can we really separate aliens from UFOs? Now, he kind of dodged that question on my part. There's a great debate going on in the UFO field. Can we really separate UFOs from aliens, especially with the experiences people are having?
Well, my opinion is that I think that the government goes through great lengths to kind of cover up the technology that is available. I think that there is a tremendous amount of technology that we have no idea. And I do think that a lot of the UFOs that we see is covert government, exercises and aircraft that are being, exercised and taken out. So, I think there's a lot said there, and people don't want to have that conversation also. So it's kind of taboo in every direction. And then when you talk about interdimensionals or ETs with aircraft, we're looking at advanced technology. So if there's similar technology, there seems to be a merge here. There must have been at some point a meeting point where this technology was either shared or reverse engineered. So we really start getting into some hairy topics that nobody wants to have. I personally don't think that we can separate them. I think that the technology that is available to us is really pulling us forward into the future, where we're looking at technology that would rewrite our history, rewrite the physics, rewrite our understanding of the world. So there's a lot that would have to change. And I think that we're going in that direction pretty quickly with AI surfacing and, the merging of that. So I don't know. I think we're headed in that direction, guys, when it comes to this. It's only so much longer that they can really hide all of these programs. And the amount of people that see the craft and have these experiences is growing in numbers in a way that all these shows are coming out. I mean, there's so many shows now about ET contact, about UFOs. I think it's becoming something that people are beginning to feel a little bit more comfortable coming into the mainstream,
Out of everything that you have learned about your own contact experiences and listening to other contactees regarding their experiences, what similarities have you found between yours and other people who have had contact?
Everything from the technology being utilized to the design or the interior of craft to the kind of species that they are interconnecting with and the kind of, let's say, treatment or emotional response that they have to those specific looking species. These are things that are quite detailed and pretty specific things that it would be hard for someone to just and my story is public, but I don't really go into detail too much publicly about those things. So when people come into my support groups and we begin to discuss these things, it's pretty mind-blowing. People from all around the world, from Germany, from Spain, from Africa, from China even, they come into the call and they're sharing their experiences and they begin to describe the technology that they're seeing And the commonalities are incredible. Sometimes I have them draw what they see, and you'll have a person from California draw the exact same thing as somebody in Germany, you know. So it's very interesting. And then, you know, for example, in the hybridization program, the incubation tanks is something that's pretty incredibly common. I mean, that for me was one of the most impactful experiences that I had is being in the presence of these walls and walls of these incubation tanks. And you know, it's just something that, you know, where does your mind come up with this stuff? If you're not someone that watches sci-fi films, you know, where do you come up with this stuff? And you know, when I came into the groups for the first time, I heard other people talking about them. Some of them are different looking. Some of them are through the military experiences, and some of them are through interdimensional experiences. So, you know, within each one of those categories, people are sharing information that is similar in the procedures that are being done to them, in the marks that they have on their bodies, in the process of abduction. You know, like for example, they have implants, then they have these other experiences, then sometimes they see the craft, and sometimes they have experiences again. So there seems to be some kind of order to these kinds of experiences. It's not just random things, and only when you have experience and you've heard a lot of these stories can you begin to kind of piece together that there is some kind of order, you know, to the phenomena. So that is very interesting, I think.
One of the things that Luis Elizondo also stated was that we need to bridge the gap between the science side of everything and the woo side of everything, where people's experiences, those who have had true experiences, not those who are using an expanded imagination to make their story look better.
Mhm.
But he believes that we need to bring the two sides together because, as I've always stated, and many others that I've learned from have stated, the experiencer has a lot of these answers that the scientific side doesn't have. Whether it's about flying a craft or seeing the technology or the telepathy involved or anything along those lines. Have you ever been asked by anybody outside of other experiences or radio shows about what you have learned from your ET contact?
Yes, people have asked. People have asked, and they want to know, you know, because there are experiencers that go into some classroom type settings, and they are taught things. You know, they are either shown how to fly craft, or they are, you know, shown how to heal, or you know, these incredible things that are given to them. I mean, for me, my psychic abilities were activated from one day to the next, just by my experience, my conscious experience. So I definitely think that there is, you know, something there that we need to really understand. And, you know, the scientific community has a really hard time, you know, letting go with the ideas that are um, pretty heavily drilled into our minds about how we interact with other dimensions, and even consciousness. I mean, consciousness is such a profound and very difficult topic to discuss. We really haven't even begun to understand it. You know, some of these experiencers really have so much valuable information because they really show things. They can download information. They have seen things that would explain some of this technology, some of this phenomena in a way that a Harvard scientist could not really understand it, you know, just because they've had firsthand experience with it. So I think there's definitely an incredible amount of value with at least listening and observing these experiencers, you know. And I think that this is also why these experiencer groups are so important. We kind of begin to piece together an entire realm of reality that we really have no idea exists, right? And the only way we know that is by piecing together and seeing these people from around the world that are sharing the technology that they're seeing, and you know, things that we dream of in some sci-fi film are being utilized in these experiences. So I think it's valuable information that we should listen to.
Has anybody governmental ever approached you? I've never asked you that question.
Yes, yes, they have.
Are
Yeah.
you able to talk about that or no?
Not really. And my answer was no. Because just because, immediately when I came public, I had a my lab experience, military abduction, that literally within I would say within the first 7 months of coming out public with my experience, I had that experience. And I think that that experience was in a way to maybe scare or intimidate or maybe try to silence some of the things that were being shared at some point. And so, it's a tricky topic that I don't really want to get into too much because we all know within the community, within the field, there is a lot of government involved already. I mean, within the UFO disclosure community, there's a lot of government involved as well. So I don't know. I think everybody knows their role, everybody knows their place. So I think it's just up to the experiencer to choose to share their experience or to come out. And I think that's why it's so important for us to do so.
What warnings for an experiencer do you have before deciding to come out publicly? Especially if they're an experiencer like you or Samantha Mowat or the Bledsoes or somebody along those lines. Not somebody who's seen lights in the sky once or
Right.
twice.
hmm Yeah, there are so many things that I would share, things that I wish I knew when I came out with this information. And I think it's one of those things is just be cautious, just be very intuitively aware of your surroundings at all times and who you connect with and who you discuss. I mean, and I think that's the same for any time that anyone's coming out public with anything or trying to disclose any kind of, sensitive information. And also to really check into your intention, because if your intention is because you think you're going to get rich or you're going to be famous or anything like that, you're definitely going down the wrong path and you can be pulled into some really, really uncomfortable situations, that you don't want to be in. The entertainment industry does a lot to utilize people that are experiencers to create, entertainment and things like that as well. So just keep in mind, that there's a lot going on, and it's a very vulnerable place to be in. So just be prepared for that. That's the only thing I would say. Just be aware of your state and your surroundings and your intention.
So what if government comes up to you and talks to you and said, "Hey, we want to have a little chat. We want to learn more about your experiences. We want to be your best friends and tell you what is going on."
That's funny. I probably would want to understand the nature of why they want to do that, and then kind of see, if that's something that's beneficial. Is it, promotive for the sharing of these things, or is it to create, more confusion? I would want to know that.
Do the aliens know if you meet with the government?
I think so. I think that, again, everything is interconnected. I think that we are in an interconnected network of consciousness. Humans and interdimensionals are one and the same. And what each one is carrying out in terms of their agendas, they have similar interests. And I think that our genetic code is one of those similar interests. The government is doing a lot to utilize our genetic code, and it's something that will be implemented in a lot of different systems in the future of control and surveillance and so on and so forth. I think that that's something that is the future of AI and everything that we're coming into. So, we're looking at a lot. We're looking at a major jump in our society and how everything is run over the next 5, 6 years. So, there's a merging that is occurring, and we're just at the beginning of that.
We got 4 minutes to go before we go to break at the top of the hour. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You continues here on Spaced Out Radio. When people have those experiences that they start noticing that others have had them as well, it's very easy for people to get caught up. It's very easy for people to all of a sudden lose focus of everyday life because now that they've found others who have had the same profound extraterrestrial experiences, that seems to consume them all over the place. How do you bridge the gap between living a normal life and dealing with these experiences?
I think that the first thing is to rewrite what we believe is normal because, we have these ideas about what normal is. And unfortunately, our ideas of normalcy are kind of upside down. They're really inverted. So what I think and what I had to learn really quickly on is that there is no normal. There absolutely is no normal. And the sooner we become comfortable with constant change and constant moving through these ideas of what things should look like, you begin to kind of just do things that are true to you and in alignment with your purpose and what's important to you, your values, your morals. And so that's where you can begin to make the choices that are productive for yourself. And usually if you choose those, you're going to do what's right for the collective if you choose something that's in alignment with your highest expression. So I think it's really important to be clear about that. And that's really for anything, not really coming into a place of acting from ego or from fear or insecurities. There really is no normal. We cannot define it. Every single person that's here has unique experiences on all kinds of different areas that really help us build a new understanding of our reality. And I think that's, important.
How come we can have so many unique experiences with the same type of extraterrestrials?
That is a fantastic question and something that I've been really revisiting. And you know what I've been thinking, Dave, is really reviewing not just immediately, our experiences, but if we look at historically, we are going through these cyclical patterns of the same. I mean, if you go back to even Mesopotamia and you look at the petroglyphs during that era, of 31 BC and forward, we see the petroglyphs around the world of Anunnaki, for example. So somehow at that time, without the technology supposedly that we have today, they were able to have the same depiction of these kinds of gods or this kind of ideology of some higher intelligence that was there, present around the entire globe. And we're kind of going through the same thing again. I mean, we have certain archetypes of aliens and species that we're familiar with, and we keep revisiting those same names, the same species, the same kind. I really feel like it's part of this creation of reality or holographic reality that we're a part of. I think it's a part of the construct that we're in. And I think that it's the way that we have formulated an image or a name. We've associated a name to this archetypal manifestation of consciousness. These species represent something for us, and they manifest themselves in these specific forms and shapes. And it's in the collective. It's in the collective. It's in the collective subconscious. It's something that we're all tapping into. Myself, I never knew anything about ETs or any kind of species of ETs. And yet, in my experiences early on, I became very familiar with mantids, with reptilians, with these Pleiadian types, and they inform you as to what their name is, supposedly. They identify themselves in these experiences. So I think that it's something that we really tap into this subconscious collective, whether it's in the Akashic records, and I think that the Akashic records is a part of this matrix multiverse, this simulated reality that we're a part of. So I think it's something that it's in the shared collective.
Well, on that note, it's a good place to end as we're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. We'll continue on with the ET talk with the lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco, GeraldineOrozco.com and BayAreaMeditation.com. And if you're an experiencer, you can go to hybridmother.com. I'm sure she's got about 58 others that she's working on right now, including spacedoutradio.com, which is true. Geraldine Orozco, the spiritual you happens once a month, first week of each new month, and we love having her here. We'll be back with more Geraldine right after this. All right, I'm just going to run my dogs out. I'll be right back.
That can't be explained. Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
All right, I'm back. I don't know if Geraldine is or not, but that's okay. Hi, Willis. Welcome to our chat room. Thank you for unsubscribing. We really appreciate that. And the fact that you announced it in our chat room that we all suck. What do we suck? Tell me what we suck. Oh, there she is, everyone. The gorgeous, talented, and often aligned with the aliens, Nicole Sakic. There she is. Corrance, the booking guy. Your mustache is doing very well, I hope. We have just under 2 minutes here. Thank you to Raz Grizz and Vinny Barbarino. I always screw that up for some reason. Let's just call him Vinster times 2. Vinster times 2. For the amazing super chats. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dave, I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, Geraldine, I'm back too.
Oh, perfect.
Still no Northern Lights.
Wow, that's too bad that you guys didn't get them. You guys usually get them?
We do a few times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while though.
Wow, I wonder where that is.
V, oh my God, Dave's beard needs its own social media. Oh, well, aren't you kind? V, welcome to our chat room. Please hit that subscribe button. You are stunning and beautiful for saying those kind words. By the way, just so you know, there's a professional wrestler who listens to this show. She's on the smaller independent circuit. Her wrestling name is Crazy Hot Morgan, and she has developed a wrestling move called the SOR bomb.
Wow.
The
that's
SOR bomb.
awesome.
I just saw that. She messaged me on Instagram to let me know. At Dave Scott SOR. Yes. The
Amazing.
SOR bomb. Fuck yeah. Yeah. All right. Now I'm pumped up. All right. Hi, Cherie. How are you, beautiful? Cherie's husband is so handsome. He really is. Isn't he?
That's right.
He-
Cherie, yes.
Hold on, hun. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Second hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you are listening in on one of our terrestrial affiliates around North America or digitally on TalkStream Live, KPNL, or Revolution Radio, we thank you for tuning us in. Want to say that our archives are all free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us, Clam? Quadragenarius. Quadragenarius is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Little upset that the Northern Lights are apparently making their way through the prairies tonight. And here in BC, we are clouded over, probably going to get more snow, but that's okay. We're all comforted knowing that Geraldine Orozco from the Spiritual You down in San Francisco, California, is back for another edition of her monthly program here on the Mighty SOR. Her website is spacedoutradio.com. Well, that's my website, GeraldineOrozco.com. And she's building our new website, spacedoutradio.com, which will look really good. Can't wait to see it. I'm all excited. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much. So happy to be here.
I am tripping over my tongue today. Why? Because I almost died. I did. I know.
Oh my God. Thank God you are still with us. What would we do without you?
I don't know. But I got to say this, because right before the break, one of our listeners, Cherie Ariano, see, I got your last name right, Ariano. We were talking about how handsome her husband is, because Cherie's beautiful, by the way. She really is.
They're a beautiful couple.
They are a beautiful couple, but
Agreed.
her husband is handsome, very handsome. And she goes, at Spaced Out Radio, he's taken, Dave. Sorry. Yes.
There you go, Dave. Don't go
one.
calling people's husbands handsome, okay?
I can admit when there's a handsome or beautiful person around, I have no problem admitting it. No problem admitting it.
No, they are a beautiful couple, I have to say. I agree with that completely. And spiritual and experiencers. I mean, they're incredible.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Aliens. Let's talk aliens, since that's what we're talking about, and experiences that people are having. A lot of people who have these extraterrestrial encounters talk about downloads, Geraldine. They talk about getting these messages or these cryptid types of signals or sounds or even like logos or images of patterns. What do you think this is all about?
Well, we want to take a look at what language is. I mean, we think that language are letters and words, and we tend to think that there is also the verbal language, which the sounds that we vocalize and we communicate. We identify them by the language that we speak and the country that we come from. And, you know, the thing is that this is how we communicate here on planet Earth. But, you know, if you expand your understanding that we can communicate more than just verbally, we actually are communicating with one another in many different ways. We communicate energetically, we communicate emotionally, we communicate with sounds, with gestures, so many different ways. So, you know, if we can expand our mind that the way that we actually communicate in verbally is actually just a very small percentage, actually. We are receiving signals and sounds from others. So when you start looking at interdimensional contact, you're entering different dimensional planes in which the communication is going to change, you know, and the laws of physics in those dimensional planes are different. Sounds are vibrational frequency. They also have a color. They have a light. They emit a light, a certain frequency. They have a shape that they also create. When we look at vibrational frequency and sound, when we, you know, Dr. Emoto was very interested in doing this when he froze water with intention, and the crystallized water had a shape and a form to it based on the intention. And you could see that maybe anger looked very differently than love or happiness or, you know, healing, for example, or rock music in comparison to classical music. So what we're looking at is the different expressions of vibrational frequency and communication and expression. There's much more to language. So when we tap into these interdimensional planes, we're tapping into those other levels of communication and expression. And we're tapping into a language that is the universal language of vibrational frequency and sound. And so every dimensional plane that we tap into, any kind of interdimensional being that comes and presents himself from those particular dimensions are going to come in with a new or a way of communication that can be understood through the universal language of vibration and symbols. You know, this is how we see things. And there's really a lot of incredible, you know, research behind this. I mean, even crop circles and the shapes. I mean, they're utilizing these incredible sacred geometric shapes that are imprints of vibrational frequency. So it's interesting because when a human, you know, kind of goes and taps into those dimensional planes, not only is their DNA activated because they are tapping into another wavelength of information, but their activities, their ability to telepathically communicate is activated, and they have the ability to perceive and understand some of these things. So they begin to download this information, much like a computer when you install something. You know, you begin to download these imprints and images and emotions and a very clear understanding. So I think a lot of experiencers have that. We even have experiencers that are tapping into light language. They begin to speak in tongues in these languages, these foreign languages that are vocalized with completely different dialects. That are interdimensional communication. So I think that's very interesting. And a lot of people are coming into that. A lot of people are also channeling information. And I find it very interesting. If you listen to some of these channeled messages, they tend to have a certain tone, a certain pattern to the way that they are talking and speaking. All of that is part of vibrational frequency and the frequency that they're tapping into.
You bring up channeling, which is quite important, I think, in the lines of communication with extraterrestrials and spiritual beings at that. For people who may not understand what channeling is, how does this work?
Mm-hmm. Well, channeling, you know, really is from our human perspective and what we're, let's say, I mean, anybody can channel really information, right? And when we channel information, the best way that I can describe it is when your friend is in need of help and they begin to ask you for advice. sometimes we begin to tap into the subconscious part of us that has some very incredible wisdom that we may not sometimes even be conscious or, aware that we actually have. And this information begins to surface. We begin to communicate this information because intuitively we're tapping into the intuitive parts of us that tap into a collective wisdom, a collective bank of information. And we share that information. That is an example of channeling. So we channel what we know as our higher self or the higher, wisdom that is within us, that voice that we can tap into. So when we're talking about interdimensional channeling, another way of channeling is not necessarily that higher self, but we channel other communications, other interdimensional beings or presences. And we see this with mediums that tap into deceased people that have passed on. They tap into those spirits, they transfer messages of information to, the people that are related to that person. And in interdimensional contact, some people tap into some of these interdimensional beings that tend to state that they have some kind of messages that they want to give. And so it comes through. And people can either express that through automatic writing or speaking or light language or vocalizing, even sound. So, there's many different ways that this comes through. But what's interesting about the channeler is that the channeler has to come into a state of, in a sense, complete surrender, where they are allowing the information to come through without analytically or judging what's coming through. They just completely allow whatever needs to come through to come through. And there's many different things to this. I mean, there's a lot of aspects that we can touch on that. It's a very important topic. And I think a lot of people are channeling now more than ever. I think it's becoming something quite popular, which is interesting.
What's the vibration like between channeling spirits and channeling extraterrestrials?
That's a really great question. And I mean, it's very hard to say. I mean, the only difference, because we have two direct lineages of creative life force. One is unconditional love, and the other one is fear. So ultimately, even though we might be tapping into any of these different interdimensional planes, you're either tapping into one of those lineages of creative life force. So you can tap into deceased people, which is usually within the 8th, 9th dimensional plane. That's when you start to tap into the Akashic records and the levels in between the 3, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th dimensional plane. And this is where a lot of these deceased souls that are still attached, they're in between realms, in between the physical 3-dimensional plane and in between this non-physical aspect, so they are attached somehow to something or someone on earth, or some idea, some thought form. So you tap into that, and that is in the lower realms per se. When you get into the higher realms, you go into maybe angelics and spirits, other spirits that are in the higher realms, and you're going into the 9th and 10th dimension. You're going in through the Akashic realm and above there. And when you tap into some of these interdimensional beings, oftentimes you're going up higher. Now, the higher dimensional plane from which they come from doesn't necessarily mean that they are all good or all bad. It really just depends on the lineage and the intention that you're tapping into that information with. So you could tap into somebody from the 11th dimension, but they could be a draconian of some sort and have some very nefarious, agenda in mind. You can also tap into some person that depicts themselves as an Arcturian and tap into some very high vibration information. So I think because we're creators, because we're engines of projection and creation, it's important to remember that your intention, tapping into any of these entities or beings that are manifesting with you, is a direct reflection of your vibrational frequency, as your fears, as much as your state of understanding of unity and consciousness, the awareness of that consciousness.
Let's get to Cherie's question here. She is asking, Geraldine, have you ever heard of the light language code keepers?
Oh, that's interesting. No, I haven't. I don't know anything about code keepers, no.
Okay, let's go to Vinster, who is asking, Geraldine, are you able to repair broken chakras?
Yes, absolutely. And really, what I do with my clients is I see the state of the chakra. So if it's fragmented and there's a lot of trauma there, there's usually a lot of stagnant energy within that space. So we identify what is the root cause of that stagnation, and we work with that information and we heal it. We heal it through a very profound understanding of the root cause of that experience in which the fragmentation began. And how we heal those fragments is by reintegrating fragments of the soul that were created by that trauma. And basically, we are repairing any imbalanced perceptions that were created through that trauma. That's what it is to repair them. And each one of the chakras is an area of creation and projection that is managing certain organs in the body and certain vibrational frequencies that the body has the ability to tap into. So depending on where you're fragmented, it's usually causing health complications, emotional blockages, you're not able to manifest, or something along those specific vibrational lines of creation. So it's really important to tap into where we have those imbalances in the body.
You know, I have heard about the chakras for years. I've always heard how they are unaligned, how they cause blockages. I don't get it. And I think the majority of people out there, Geraldine, don't get it when one of our chakras is pointed in a wrong direction, the other one turned left at Albuquerque. I don't get it.
You know, and it's okay because it's something that it's kind of unfortunately has been, like many truths of our well-being, has been hidden for centuries. But this is very ancient knowledge. This is not something new. The awareness of the chakras has been with us since before Christ. Okay, we can look back to ancient texts all the way from pagan religions to early Judaic religions, where they studied the anatomy of the body, the sacred anatomy of the body, and even more so, the creation abilities of the human body. What the chakras are not just little vortexes that are independent within the body. They are literally your environment. They are what you're experiencing. Everything that you're experiencing is a direct result to what is going on inside your body. So it's something that the more that we learn the biotechnology of the body, the more we understand why the world is the way it is, why we are oftentimes in systems of control that we're in. If we just look at how for centuries, we have been, in some ways, sex has been weaponized against us, religion has been weaponized, fear has been weaponized against us. Those basic parts, and these are just very limited examples, are all incredibly interconnected to the first three chakras. And when we have those chakras out of balance, we completely change in the way that we're manifesting. We completely come into a state of hypnosis where we're disconnected from our higher creation abilities. And the matrix, or those that are in power, really want that, because that's the best and quickest way to enslave an entire human race into just completely disconnecting from the ability to apply their free will and to begin to make choices that take them into a higher state of being and health and vitality.
Okay. So how do we know if our chakras are misaligned? Do they,
Okay.
I don't hear a little ding, 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 like I would in my car.
Well, you do actually. You do. The thing is that we don't know how to recognize it because we're, disconnected from the body. For example, if you are dealing with food cravings, for example, from sugar, let's say sugar, you're craving sugar. Now, sugar causes a chemical response in the body, and we are addicted to that chemical rise and fall. Oftentimes we use sugar to escape from emotions. We begin to eat sweets because they make us feel good. They make those endorphins run through the body, and they give us a rise. It's a pleasure rise. So right there, when you have an addiction to food, I can tell you which of your chakras are out of alignment, because the areas that govern these cravings are the same areas that manage your your digestive system and your stomach and the endocrine system and all of these areas of the emotions. And so it's the stomach and the sacral chakra, the solar, the root chakra, root, sacral, solar. Those are the first three chakras. So one of those is out of balance, and we utilize sugar in order to completely cover the part of us that we want to, we crave love. Ultimately we're craving love, we crave attention, affection. So all of those are a direct response of the imbalances that are happening in the body. So it's just a matter of understanding the connections between your choices, the way that you speak, the way that you connect with others, the choices that you make in your life, the things that you eat. All of those things are a direct connection with your chakras. We just don't realize how interconnected those things are and how they are. The chakras manage our internal organs. If you're someone that has problems with rejecting yourself and self-confidence and insecurities, I can guarantee you your heart chakra and your sacral chakra are suffering. There is a fragmentation within that space. If you address those issues, your perception will change. See?
Is it that easy, though?
It really is. It really is that easy. It's a matter of really understanding the emotional engines that are projecting and creating our reality. And all it takes is self-love to kind of sit down with yourself and sit with the emotions that are there. If you meditate for just 1 minute, closing your eyes in silence, in stillness, those emotions that are hurting, that are suffering, that are suppressed in the body begin to arise. And that's why it's so difficult for people to meditate, because they are overwhelmed by the emotions that they've been trying to avoid all their lives. And it's within the avoidance of those emotions that we find illness and stagnation and all of these things that we really don't want. So it's a matter of choosing well-being and, in my opinion, free will, which is really the most important thing that we're here to learn.
Okay. But it also affects every aspect of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
From your brain to your sexual awareness.
Exactly. It's the chakras are very much energetic, electrical. It's an electrical system where we're electrical systems, and it's very much chemical because it's directly connected to the endocrine system of the body. So it literally manages your lymphatic system, your stress, all of the stress, and your nervous system of the body is directly affected by the imbalances that are within the chakras. So it's incredibly important to fix that and to address those issues. I think more and more, medicine is starting to acknowledge these parts of us, this part of our bodies. There are holistic practices that are being implemented in hospitals now, and with people that are doing pranic healing on those energetic spaces, and meditation and activating and working with the chakra system. So I think it's the technology of the future of the biotechnology that we're learning.
Okay, so question coming in from, let me just get it here, big creep here, who is asking, does this also work the same way with drugs and alcohol?
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great question, because addictions are oftentimes, and here's what I see in all the years of working with people. And I've worked with a lot of people with addictions. People that are either incredibly sensitive, they are incredibly empathic all their lives, oftentimes end up in addictions because they are so overwhelmed by their sensitivity and their ability to connect. They're empathic. They pull in everyone's emotions, and they don't learn early on how to manage those energetic boundaries, that they are just needing to escape from their body and from the sensations that are in the body. So they numb it out, and they numb it out through drugs oftentimes. Now, this is not a good way to numb it out. Obviously, it causes definitely more harm and more destruction for the body, and actually does the opposite. It destructs the energetic body even more so. So from a place of complete vulnerability, it takes it into a state of complete disconnect and destruction. And the multidimensional body ends up having cracks and openings in which entities and attachments come in. We've known this for centuries. I mean, this is why alcohol has the name of spirits, right? Spirits, because the idea is that when we drink alcohol, we are. Oh, let's wrap up. We'll continue when we get
Yes,
back.
we'll continue with this talk. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You continues right after this on Spaced Out Radio. I lost track of time there.
Oh, no, it's okay. Perfect wrap up.
All right. So, yes. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. We were going down a good road here. We haven't done chakras in years.
That's true. We haven't talked about chakras. There's so much to talk about. Yeah.
I know. Hi, Irish Lincoln. Yeah. I'm having a good time.
Thanks for the questions. Me too. And thanks to the audience for the questions. Such great questions. I love
They are brilliant.
that they're interested. Yeah.
They are brilliant. Let's see here. What does this say? Oh, that's nice. Let's just erase that. Yeah, got that. Jerkin, how you doing? Welcome to our chat room. Warden Dragon, good to have you back. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. When you're not doing this, Geraldine, what are you doing? Like, what do you do for fun? What do you do for kind of hanging on out? What do you do?
I love to go into nature. I love the beach, so I will spend time in the beach, and I love to paint. And yeah, that's really the best thing. I've recently created such an incredible relationship with trees, which is really funny. I love going into nature and just connecting.
Really?
Yes, this is what
You know
I
what
do.
happens when you go into nature here?
What happens?
You listen for the bells of all the people who were wearing bear bells, who got attacked and killed by bears, because the bears are using them as jewelry now. I'm teasing, but
Oh my goodness! Oh, well, thank God there's not too many bears out here.
I love, like, I'm just itching to get back in the forest.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
The cool part about the forest is it doesn't matter when you go or where you go. It's really cool up here for what you see. Like I remember my buddy Mike and we were out looking for firewood one night or one day. It was a Sunday, and it got too late in the afternoon. The sun was going down, and we're like, you know what? Let's just enjoy nature. And we come driving along, and you're driving pretty slow because there's snow on the road, and we're just kind of looking out and just see something dark in the trees. So you stop because you want to see, well, what is that? And there's like 3 big wild horses just walking through the trees. And you're like, oh,
wow,
that's why we do this. Wild horses are gorgeous.
Wow, I didn't know they had wild horses up there. That's amazing.
I've now seen 3 different packs here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do they cover in the winter? I mean, do they live like in little caves? Like where do they go?
Horses, cows, and deer, in their fur does not soak up water. So, like for us with our hair, our hair goes into our head, and I'm trying to explain this the way it was explained to me. And like our head would get moist, and that's what makes us cold. Whereas the deer hair or cow hair or horse hair, it's hollow, so it doesn't absorb moisture.
Oh,
So
very interesting.
that's how they are able to stay dry and warm over the winter.
Oh, okay.
So the cold, unless it's like ugly cold, the cold usually doesn't affect them. And when it gets really, really cold, what they do is they go huddle down in a snowbank, because snow is actually warm. So
Mhm.
if you huddle down in the snow and you sit there, it's actually warm. And so what they'll do is they'll go into the dense forest to block from the wind, and they'll huddle and they'll cuddle down and bed down together, so their body heat creates like a giant warm area for them.
Mhm. Wow,
So
that's
that's what they do.
incredible.
Not cows though. Cows don't give a care.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But that's fun. That's beautiful nature. I mean, back in the day for me, traveling was fun, but now we can't really travel too much.
soon, my friend.
I
Soon.
know. I know.
By the
I'm
end of the
itching.
year, you're coming to Vegas with us.
All right. I can't
Yes.
wait.
That's
Mhm.
what we're going to do. We have like 10 seconds. Thank you to Razgriz and Vinster, who is asking once again if you will marry him. And for the super
Oh.
chats, here we go. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Squat. Dave Squat? I can't even pronounce my last name properly. Dave Scott is my name, apparently. Now I'm going to become a meme on that now. Darn it. Anyways, if you're enjoying this show and you want to check out our archives, go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We bring back Geraldine Orozco, whose name I apparently can pronounce. My goodness, how do I butcher my own name? That's terrible. That's just terrible. Bad radio host right there. Bad. But
Oh no, you did great.
Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com, BayAreaMeditation.com. Geraldine, right before the break, you were talking about the effects of alcohol on the chakra system.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, and so here's the thing, like the chakra system is not just a system that is invisible or imaginary, right? It's the entire multidimensional body. And this is something that we need to start becoming aware of, not just because this is the direction that technology is going into. When we begin to question artificial intelligence and the direction that we're going here in technology, you know, what makes the difference between technology and artificial intelligence is the fact that we are aware of our consciousness, right? That we are aware that we have a consciousness and we are aware of it. We utilize that consciousness. So we are actually more non-physical than we are physical. The physical is just 10% of our entire organism. The organism of the multidimensional body is layers from the first into the 13th dimension. This is how far out you extend. Each and every one of you extends out into the 13th dimension. And every one of those dimensional planes is your access to these layers of phenomena. You know, when you begin to uncover some of this interdimensional contact, you're tapping into these higher dimensional planes. This is how we have access to that information. When you tap into your higher self, you're tapping into the higher dimensional planes of the 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th, and even all the way up to your source. So this is all part of the system of evolutionary movement of each human, and also how we contribute individually to the collective. So when you take alcohol or drugs, it really, really affects, obviously, the physical body, but that effect really destructs the multidimensional body, creating cracks. And a lot of what's happening in our world with consciousness is that there is an expression of polarity, which is consciousness that is aware of itself and consciousness that is not aware of itself. And when we're not aware of ourselves, when we deny that we are conscious, aware beings, when we say, I hate myself or I'm not good enough, all of these thoughts that are destructive of the self, denying of the self, we become this kind of parasitic consciousness. Because now we believe that we need something outside of us to provide us with that acknowledgement and that awareness of ourselves. And what that does is that it makes you a host. You become a host to any number of attachments of entities that are in resonance with that thought form, with that belief. So when you're on alcohol and drugs, you're completely disconnected with your body. Your body is like abandoned in a sense, and you take on a lot of things. And I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you the incredible stories that I uncover in my sessions with my clients. When people are recovering addicts, they begin to clear up these entities that have attached to them just by going to a bar or by being drunk every night. They are bringing in so much stuff in their body that they don't need to. And these entities and attachments cause depression, they cause anger problems, they cause frustration, just all kinds of problems, and ultimately physical problems, right? They start having liver problems and so on and so forth. Our human body, when we are healthy in all dimensional planes, we have absolutely no health issues. We come into a state of vitality and creation. We manifest. We're abundant. So this is the difference. When we are in a state of self-destruction, we really cannot tap into any of those abilities or superpowers that the human has because we're disconnected from those creative aspects. So this is how important it is to be aware of the choices that you take. You're either in the road of construction and vitality and longevity or destruction. So, yeah.
Let's go to Human Carl's question because we love Human Carl around here. He's one of the many veterans who listens to this show. And we love you, Human Carl. He is asking, there are many guided meditations on YouTube for clearing or aligning your chakras. Are they worthwhile, and can you recommend any?
You know what? I'm going to say that the chakras information that are out there, there's a lot of so much infinite information. So it's very easy to get into disinformation. If you're going to follow a meditation, I would like to advise you to find somebody that can actually see the multidimensional body, works with the multidimensional body, and understands how they operate, okay? Because people that don't have that connection to themselves or the ability to see how they actually function really don't understand what the chakras are. And you can tell immediately by listening to their meditations and what they say and what they do. Now, for the beginner that isn't aware of that, find people that are experts in seeing the multidimensional body, that have those gifts. I do offer a lot of meditation videos on my YouTube channel, so I am obviously going to advise you to check that out. I also talk about advanced meditation techniques with the chakras, teaching you how to open and close them, how to control those areas of emotions and healing. So, please do check that out if you want to. Another name that I can recommend is, let me see, what is her name? Desda Zuckerman. She does teach advanced meditation techniques. We have, let's see, let me give you another name. I'm really bad with names. But the pranic healer and teacher, Dr. Master Chak Koksui, I am probably completely butchering that name, but he is a master pranic healer. He is incredible with chakra information, and he will show you how to clear and clean the chakra system. And anything that is in the lineage of advanced pranic healing, I would suggest. Okay, so that's what I would suggest.
All right, let's get to Dr. Marty's question. Are evil entities a human construct, or are they found in higher dimensions?
Well, that is a great question, and it's one and the same. We are interconnected, and we're constantly moving out of many dimensions at any given time. We're moving in and out of dimensions, okay? Based on our vibrational frequency that we are emitting and we are co-creating, we create absolutely everything that we experience, absolutely everything. Even these interdimensional contacts, even these experiences, we're actually helping create those things. So ultimately, the answer is yes. Entities are an extension of ourselves. They are a manifestation that we are creating based on our vibrational frequency. And when people hear that, sometimes they want to have a heart attack. They're like, what do you mean? I didn't manifest this horrible thing, and I'm experiencing it. But in fact, we just need to understand the laws of creation. what we're creating and what we're experiencing, each and every one of you, is the center point of your universe. We see this in the design of the universe. If you go to any point in the universe, when you're there in that point, it looks like the universe is expanding from that point, and it looks that way from any point in the universe. Well, we're the same. From my point of creation, everything around me revolves around my subconscious beliefs and systems, and what I attract into my space is a direct reflection of what I believe. So if we have some kind of limiting belief, if we're fearful of something limiting somewhere, we are going to manifest that into our experiences. And we definitely experience this in the flesh, so in our physical awake time. We also experience it in dream time. We experience it when we are lucid dreaming or leaving the body in some kind of travel, astral travel, and when we tap into the Akashic records. And even more so, when we tap into the higher dimensions, the entities and beings that we connect with are a match to our vibrational frequency. And this is something that's very interesting in the ET phenomena, because a lot of people that have been in the spiritual realm, a lot of those people that are experiencers claim that they have been in the spiritual realm for a long time. And oftentimes their experiences are more positive. They're much more positive. People that have negative experiences oftentimes have a lot of fearful programming. So this is something that I've noticed in my contactees over the years as well.
Very cool. Vinster, who once again would like to marry you, he is asking, Geraldine, have you ever read Alan Watts? And if so, what do you think? He's from San Francisco too.
Oh, cool. Alan Watts. I don't know if I read any books from him. I'm not sure. Maybe you can elaborate on what I actually, the name is so familiar, but I can't remember what he discusses. I'm sorry, I read a lot of different kinds of books, but I don't know what.
That's okay. That's okay. We can move on. We can move on. Let's go to Tammy's question, who is asking, Geraldine, do you work with crystals?
I do work with crystals. Crystals are very similar in function to our DNA. They are holographic structures, recording systems of information. And much like trees that record in their rings all of the information of the environment, our chakras work just like the rings of a tree. And crystals also work in that same way. They are grown within the earth, and in their environment, they are constantly processing and recording the levels and changes in environment and frequency on the planet Earth. So they are incredible tools to magnify, oftentimes, healing when we're doing pranic healing, or to clear or cleanse the body. So, for example, more clearing energies would be clear crystal quartz, or, for example, selenite, which a lot of my clients utilize in hypnotherapy. To help as a conduit to move the energy and ground the energy through the body. So crystals, when you know them, and that's you could study for years about crystals and probably still not know a lot about it. They really are a beautiful expression of solid vibrational frequency, I could say. Each one of the colors, each one of the minerals really depict a certain vibrational frequency. So if you study on it, you'll learn a little bit about that. And so I work a lot. One of my favorite crystals, just to put it out there, is moldavite. It's one of the most spiritually advancing and accelerating crystals that I've seen and worked with when it comes to spiritual work.
I am a... That's mine right there.
Is that lapis lazuli or sodalite?
That is Sodalite. I am a Sodalite guy. Yes. Sodalite is good for left-handers.
Oh.
It is good for people with creative writing minds or music or things along those lines. And it also helps calm from depression and anxiety. And that's why I carry this on my microphone.
That's so beautiful. And also the color blue is good for the throat chakra, for communication and expression. So you really need that. And that's so exciting. I love that.
That's why it sits there on my microphone.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it works, but I sure as heck am going to try it out. And I'm going with it. Let's see here. Another question from Sovereign. Have you ever been to the Berkeley walls? And if so, what do you know about them?
Wow, Berkeley walls. I haven't actually. That's interesting. I'll have to check that place out.
I didn't know what they were. They're apparently found up and down the hills of East Bay from Berkeley to San Jose, and
Oh,
they're these mystery walls that were allegedly built by Spanish settlers. Or
oh,
pardon me, the
interesting.
Spanish settlers report that the walls were already there when they arrived, and they asked the local Ohlone Indians the
Hmm.
same thing, and they apparently didn't know how they were built. So,
Yeah, you know what? I think I remember my shaman actually talking about them having to do with some kind of lore about serpent people or, the reptilian people, where I think it was like a snake that solidified on top of the mountain, and it was like some kind of energy for that. And I think it's something that we see actually around the world. I know in Bolivia, when I lived there a couple of years, they have the exact same thing and this exact same story that they came in and they saw these walls already built at the top of the mountain. And they say that it was a serpent that had solidified there. So I don't know if it's a similar thing, but I'll look it up. Thanks for telling me about it.
all right. Well, now I want to go down there and see that.
Yes, you have to. I've been planning on doing, well, we were supposed to have a retreat in Peru last year. We had to cancel that, but I am definitely doing that again. So, Dave, that would be so great if you came along.
Oh, let's go talk aliens there.
Exactly.
Let's go talk
Exactly.
aliens. All
For
right,
sure.
let's get to another question. Mondak is asking, will your new website list hypnotherapists in other states and provinces?
Is that my website? Because my website does have that, and I actually do work with Opus as well. Opus is an organization for paranormal research, and they have a wonderful resource service that we connect all the experiencers with hypnotherapists around the world. So if you're looking for that, please do check out Opus and put in your experience and what you need, and we can help you find it.
All right, let's get to another one here. Big Creep is asking, what does the red color mean? I find myself attracted to the color.
Fantastic. So red color represents, it's our root chakra, which represents safety, security, and feeling safe, feeling at home. Okay. So a lot of people are actually tapping into this color over the past couple of months because of the shifts that have been happening globally, and a feeling that they feel insecure in their home or in their safe space. So I would really work with the root chakra and any programs that have to do with any feelings of insecurity or disconnect to feeling safety. Taking a look at your relationship with mother and father and the role that they played in either being a nurturing presence for us or a protective presence for us. And just notice, like, was that protection there for you? Or was that nurturing love there for you? Or was one of them missing? And what do you need now in your everyday life in terms of feeling more protected with yourself, whether it's how we communicate or express ourselves or how we're dealing with, care, self-care? Are we taking the time necessary to recover, to recuperate? So it's really important to work on those things. And anytime that we start coming into fear, just knowing that we are the sole provider and nurturer and protector of ourselves at all times.
All right, Vin is asking, is there a correlation between chakras and zodiac signs?
Yes, there is. And it's very interesting because the correlation goes beyond that, even into the planets. Um, and this is actually one of the most beautiful depictions, I think, of how we are fractals upon fractals upon fractals. I mean, the human body is a fractal of the design of the universe. Every single one of the planets is a representation of a frequency that we hold within our body. We are stardust. Really, it's taken to a whole nother level, down to the molecular level. We are operating in this creative engine that is the same as the universe and the way that the universe moves. So each one of the chakras will master a certain organ, certain stone, a certain crystal. I mean, the ranges of that. And what we're organizing, we organize things because in our human mind, we like to compartmentalize things. But this is also the natural order of vibrational frequency. When a rainbow, when a white light is put through a pyramid, a prism, it comes out in a spectrum. And so I just want you to think of your body as that spectrum. Well, the universe is also in that same way. Okay, every single one of the planets is operating at a different vibrational frequency. And even the center core of that planet, the center core of each galaxy, like for example, the different suns of a galaxy, will define the races that are part of that galactic circle, that galactic center. So yeah, it's a great question. There's so much there that we could discuss, but yeah, I'll just say that for now.
Jenny is asking, are we still firmly rooted in three-dimensional or 3D, or are we shifting?
Yeah, I get this question a lot. My answer to that is that we are constantly moving through multiple dimensions. The idea that we're specifically moving from 3 to 4 or 4 to 5, I think is kind of a limited understanding of what we are. We have the potential of tapping into 13th dimension if we want to, through meditation or through channeling. Even a lot of channelers tap into other higher dimensional beings. So evolution is a natural movement of this entire universe, of the entire multiverse that we're a part of, and we are a fractal of that movement. So the more that we heal ourselves, the more that we come into awareness, we play a role in how this collective shift is occurring. And we also play a role in our family lineage, in our community, in our society, and globally. So ascension is not about dimensions. It's about your awareness and the application of your consciousness in that awareness.
All right, we've only got about 2.5 minutes here before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You continues here on Spaced Out Radio, and we're loving the audience attraction and the questions that we are having tonight with this program. And Jennifer is asking, I'm attracted to the colors red, gray, and black. What does that mean?
Oh, that's interesting. So again, red, I just explained, red is about the root chakra, which is about security, safety, and protection. And so anytime that we are tapping into those vibrational frequencies, when we're attracted to a color, we're attracted to specific information, and information that either makes us feel good or bad. So I just want you to be aware of that. Color theory is an incredibly vast study of vibrational frequency. And even in marketing, we know, and it's studied very heavily, just the Pantone company that studies color every year, for example, they utilize color in order to create atmospheres. And those atmospheres, they know that those colors trigger certain emotions in you. So what red represents is security and safety. What gray represents is stillness, calm, serenity. What black represents is the void or protection or covert or, covering or the hiding of emotions or not showing those emotions, for example. A lot of our teens, they wear black a lot because they are dealing with overwhelming emotions, and sometimes it's difficult. And even in the fashion industry, people wear black a lot because emotions are something that, they don't want to show. They want to try to show some kind of control over those areas, more ideas of sophistication, which is a false idea, really. But so just notice, what these colors make us feel. And my suggestion is that, of course, there's no right or wrong to any color that you feel, but you'll notice in your spiritual evolution that as you move through blockages that you have emotionally, you're going to be attracted to different kinds of colors when you heal certain parts of you.
I don't understand the color thing, just like I don't understand the whole numerology part of it. But one of those things is there's people like you who break it down for us, and I appreciate that. I do.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Yeah, color is it's vibrational frequency. I mean, McDonald's, for example, they use yellow and red is used a lot for restaurants because it makes us feel warm and comfy and protected. So we want to eat, we want to indulge in ourselves. I mean, there's a whole science behind this, and it's actually very simple. It's not, too crazy, but it's utilized all around us. all around us.
Very true. Geraldine Orozco, we have her for another 30 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio, as we are going to go to break here on the Spiritual You at the top of the hour. And, of course, Geraldine's websites are GeraldineOrozco.com, BayAreaMeditation.com. Hour 3 of the show next. We got Geraldine for another 30. Then we're going to play a little game called the Magic 8 Ball, get into the news, and we're going to have the thought of the day, but jam-packed. Hour 3 next on Spaced Out Radio. Just going to run my dogs out. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay. See.
Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightline Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thaw, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chide and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world. relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world.
Hello, everybody. I am back. We've got just about 90 seconds left.
Okay.
Hi, Geraldine.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. You having a good time?
I'm having an amazing time. So happy to be here.
We're always happy you're here.
Yay. How are your doggies?
My doggies are good. They love the snow.
Yeah. Have you had any sightings, by the way, Dave?
Nothing. Well, I
Yeah?
did. Oh, I did get about 3 weeks ago. I got taken with Bob McGuire.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't even tell us about this. You have to tell us.
Yeah, I had a dream and woke up. I know I fell asleep, and I had this wicked dream that I was in this real dark hotel, and Bob McGuire was there, and Olda Phillips was there, and a bunch of other people in ufology. Bob. So I called up Bob the next morning, and I'm like, Bob, like, you recall anything from the other night or from last night? I said, how'd you sleep? He said, I woke up like 3 times. He goes, his wife Sharon even woke up because they heard walking around the house. And Bob checked his Fitbit, and there was a bunch of misaligned calculations on there that was just weird.
Wow.
Hold
Interesting.
Hold on, hun.
Okay.
Here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Quadragenarius. Quadragenarius is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight from BayAreaMeditation.com and GeraldineOrozco.com, Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You is continuing on here on the show, as we absolutely love doing this show near the beginning of each month, where Geraldine comes on, discusses all of our favorite Zen, Chi, and ET contact, plus everything in between. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right. Right before the break, we were kind of talking about the chakras and how those affect us. Where does astrology play into this?
Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting question. So we go back to the idea of archetypes, and the reason why we go back to archetypes because the astrology and astrological signs are a form of organization of personalities and expressions of consciousness per se. We are falling within those archetypes. So the different celestial bodies, the main celestial bodies that run our skies and the galaxy that we're a part of here, influence, those planets heavily influence the energies that we feel on planet Earth. And they really dictate that the moment of birth that we come into the physical body, we are coming in at a specific time, and that specific time provides a vibrational expression to who you are, what you are. And in that is a combination of information of your genetic lineage, your ancestral lineage, and then all of the information that comes as a part as your soul that is here to experience the things that are a part of that lineage. So usually when we're born in the body at a specific time, we will begin to take on these archetypal identities. And usually that identity is linked with the astrological sign. You know, if you follow this school of thought and you begin to study that, it's oftentimes very interesting, in which some of these things really truly show us certain personality traits that the person has at that time of birth. So really what it is just another level of organization that we've created as humans in order to compartmentalize an understanding of consciousness or how it manifests in the physical form. The chakra system is connected to the different planets, and the different planets have specific influences on us. And those influences are often emotional. They are in the way they govern areas of the body. And for example, when we're in Mercury retrograde, let's say, we have a lot of technological issues. We have issues with communication. And so, you know, Mercury governs the area of the throat, of communication, of expression. So if you have this planet very prominent in your astrological sign, you know, those areas might really stand out for you. And they also will affect your chakra system. When I work with people and I look at their bodies and I see that a certain area is out of alignment, sometimes when I look at their astrological signs, there is a direct correlation with the blockages that they have and their astrological lineage. And we cycle through all of these 12 lives, 12 signs. It's also how we are evolving collectively. We are moving through the universe through cycles of evolution, and each one of those cycles is let's say it's an analogy for a level of ascension that we're experiencing. Every single one of the astrological signs is a level of awareness, a level of consciousness. They say that the Pisces is the last astrological sign, and it's also the highest level of spirituality or the highest level of ascension. So we might be at different stages in our life, when we're evolving spiritually. So there's many levels to this information, but just as a general overview, this is how it's connected. I mean, it's very much interconnected.
Interesting. I never really understood how the planets kind of affect what we do on a daily basis. You know, like I've never been a big believer in Mercury retrograde or any other sort of retrograde that happens out there. Detail for us, if you don't mind, how that kind of affects our body, our soul, our consciousness.
Yeah. Well, each planet governs certain elements, let's say. Okay. And Mercury is a planet that is governing a lot of electricity. It governs electrical charge, electric energy, electric expression. And so they say that when this, planet is in retrograde, which means that it's moving in the opposite direction instead of a forward direction, it is causing a disturbance in the electrical field, and that affects the earth and affects, all of the things that are interconnected to those realms of electricity and electrical charge. But it very much affects our body too, because we are electrical. We have positive, negative charges in the body that sustain this energetic system, the electrical charges and the electromagnetic field in the body that creates the field that is around us, the biofield. So the biofield is what is absorbing our environment. It's our connection to the things that are around us, to our environment, and how we perceive the environment and process that information. So, these were very much interconnected, in which the engine of creation is the human consciousness and the awareness of that consciousness. So if we are aware of ourselves and our bodies, and if we process emotions and we begin to heal all of those emotions, you get to a point which is the 0 point, a point of non-judgment, a point of neutrality, that you're no longer affected by a lot of these things, actually. And I've experienced this myself when I was reaching a very heightened level of awareness in my ascension process, I began to notice that the cyclical patterns that happened not only hormonally, but energetically in my body and with astrological signs and things like retrograde no longer really affected me. And they didn't affect me because I wasn't aware of them. See, for a lot of us, it affects us because we're not really aware of it. But when you reach a level of dissolving all of the emotional blockages, you're no longer playing in that field of cause and effect. You're no longer reacting to the things that are around you. And all of these archetypes, like the astrological signs, are depictions of different aspects of the human psyche and the human emotions. So it's very much an aspect of our evolution, and it's also a part of our physical bodies, and how they relate to the environment.
Can it affect how you think, how you feel, how you sleep at night, how you go about your day?
Yes, I believe it does. There's something there but what really affects that is the programming that we take on, right? I mean, you might be born with a certain set of planets and whatever that influence your subconscious mind. And a lot of those things will be in connection with your ancestral lineage. I think that the ancestral lineage has much more influence on the body, really, than the astrological signs. Although when you overlap them, you're going to see a lot of, similarities and overlaps. Okay, but so your choices are made because of things that you have learned. They're learned experiences. If you begin to change the experiences that cause you more suffering, you begin to change your experience in your life and the way that you experience things. So, needless to say, the work that we do with our emotions and with our everyday life really is the center point of creation. And other than that, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And I think it's a matter of awareness. We have to be aware of where things need to change, how we need to support ourselves, how we need to, help ourselves becoming more aware of what we need.
All right. I want to get to Vin's question here. He is asking, for people who do not know or understand what we're talking about, what exactly is retrograde?
I am not an astrologer and I am not an expert in astrology. All I know about that specifically is that it's when the planet is moving backwards or in a retro motion instead of forward. And I don't know anything more than that. So I'm just going to stop it right there, because I would like for you to speak to an astrologer to learn more about that.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Does ET contact revolve around the astrology signs as well?
That's an interesting question, and I don't believe it does. Although they do say that Aquarians, they're very interested in ET contact and the interdimensional. But of course, there's every single kind of sign is experiencing ET contact, so I don't think there's a correlation to that. I don't think so. I think there's more of a correlation to spiritual ascension than there is really interdimensional contact. Yeah.
What do you think causes ET contact to happen? What attracts them to the human body, or the human mind? Maybe it's the consciousness. Like, do we give out these Kmart blue light specials that all of a sudden ETs pick up and decide, hey, let's go check out that one?
Well, I definitely think so. And I think that the interest is our genetic information, our genetic code, for the purpose of procreation, for the hybridization program, which is something that we are a product of as well, which means that we are hybrids. We are a product for generations and generations and cycles of I guess, human races that have lived on this planet. And interdimensionally, we are experiencing, just imagine that this human body is actually the most advanced biotechnology. And I think that is the direction that we're headed, that we are an advanced product of the hybridization program. And I strongly feel that as interdimensional contact becomes aware in a human, when a human becomes aware of that contact, they have activated parts of their DNA. I think that's what it is. We activate parts of our DNA, and in our DNA, in our genetic code, it gives us access to dimensional awareness. This dimensional planes that we begin to access, like 11, 12, whatever dimension, doesn't really matter. We begin to pull in information and the awareness that there are aspects of ourselves that manifest in the form of these interdimensional beings. And what is happening is that when we're unaware, all kinds of things can happen to the human organism. It can be utilized to create other life without our conscious awareness. That doesn't mean that we didn't agree to it. It just means that we're not aware of the agreement that was made. And it's not, I personally don't believe that there is an ET race that is dying out there that isn't in survival. I don't believe that. I feel that there is an exchange of consciousness that is occurring, and that we are dealing with parasitic consciousness versus conscious consciousness. And the war, or what we're here to do, is to be conscious of that consciousness and to apply our free will. And I feel that that's happening on every dimensional plane. I feel that extraterrestrials are going through that process. I feel we're going through that process. In a sense, we are all ascending, all going through this process of self-awareness in a sense.
Okay, so for those who are going through this self-awareness and we're trying to find out what works for us and what doesn't, how do we change internally with the way we sleep, with the way we eat, the patterns that we hold? Because we are creatures of habit, and breaking that habit is very difficult.
Yeah, and so this is exactly why, in the spiritual community, we create all of these idealisms about what it is to be this incredible spiritual guru, right? And I'd really like to invite people to get away from anyone that tells them, you have to eat this certain way or be this certain way in order to be spiritual. All it is, and all that you're doing is you're learning how to love yourself. That's it. End point. That is the only thing that you need to focus on. And in that journey to learn how to love yourself, you identify the self that is genuine, that is a real, true expression of yourself, which means that you're not a product of fears and limiting beliefs and programming that you took on from your parents that are not really even your belief systems. You're doing that work. You're knowing who you really are. Because a lot of us, we live our entire life with a mask, an identity that isn't really even ours. And because we're lazy, and we're comfortable, we just allow ourselves to continue pretending the things that we're doing are in alignment with us when they really aren't. And this is where we either become robots or artificial intelligence dependent on systems that will tell us what to do, what to wear, what to eat, in order for those companies to, become wealthy. This is how this system is run. Or you become a self-governing, sovereign being that is completely aware and conscious of yourself, and you're making choices that are in alignment with what's good for you, not what you're being told is good for you. So this is the difference between a person that's sleeping and a sheep, and a person that is aware and conscious and is applying their free will. And that person looks like something completely different. And the resistance that you once had to maybe leaving these little habits, it no longer is a resistance. It's just an awareness of truth. You're looking at what's true. The truth is that even though my taste buds like this thing, when I eat this, I'm supporting all kinds of systems in our reality that are destructive, not only to society, but in the larger picture to the whole. So this is a level of awareness that we want to reach, and it's no longer being in denial or afraid of truth. That's what self-love is. Self-love is truth about yourself and truth about all the things that you're choosing to do.
Interesting. We have about 5 minutes left with you tonight on Spaced Out Radio, and once again, this show goes really, really fast when we have you here. For people who may believe that they are having ET contact, what are some of the signs they should look for around themselves, around their bodies, around their home?
Great question. So, the first thing I say is to document. Please, please document what you're experiencing. Get yourself a journal and start to jot down. And don't discard anything that you're experiencing just because when you're new to the phenomena, you're not really sure what you're looking for or what is special or what's important or what's unique to your experience. And you really are not aware of that until you start hearing other people's experiences and you start recognizing, what they're going through. So I want you to start like jotting down the dreams that you're having, sightings that you're having, any kind of things that are phenomena. Now, I don't want you to turn into somebody that's completely paranoid and always looking at things and looking for signs, but I do observe, the times that these things are occurring, the dreams, the kind of dreams that you're having, how you're feeling in those dreams, how you wake up from those dreams. Do you feel that you got hit by a truck, or do you feel that you are, dizzy or aching in some part of your body? Do you wake up with scars on your body? Check your body, in the morning, look in the mirror, check every part of your body for any kind of marks or anything that may be there, and document that, meaning taking pictures of it. And write it in your journal. Notice what are the days that you have these experiences. Is there a cyclical pattern in your contact experience? Do you see it a certain time of the month more than others? And then, as you begin to kind of begin to see some patterns, just notice the emotional effects that it has on you. Are there certain fears, anxieties that you have that are coming as a result of that? So this is the first step that I would say. There's also other things, that you can do. There's, I don't know, supposedly, there's an infrared lamp or a black light lamp that is able to detect bioluminescence in the body. Those are things that we kind of learn through the field. But there's many things that you can look at, and then get support.
Right. One final question we have from the audience for you. This comes from Sovereign, who is asking, Geraldine, have you heard of ringing in the ears transforming into an entity manifesting in front of you?
Yes. Yes, I have. And the reason why is because when we have ringing in the ear, there is a shift in the vibrational frequency in which you're in. Oftentimes you're merging in and out of a certain dimension. I notice that I get ringing in the ears when I know I'm going to have contact that night, or when I know someone is present in my space. And sometimes when I'm tapping into, through mediumship, someone that's coming in, I also connect with that kind of ringing in the ear. So I think that this is your communication. And oftentimes, sometimes, some of this contact is, I want you to be very careful, because in my lab, that's also something that is utilized to trigger something in the body, like through mind control. The ringing in the ear is one of the ways that they kind of tap into or activate people into experiences. I've seen that as well. So just notice what happens, and I have actually experienced that myself, and I have clients that have experienced the same that you're speaking of.
Interesting. Tell us the show that you're on presently on television.
Yeah, it's called UFO Witness, and it's with Ben Hansen, and he is, it's episode 8, The Hybrid Secret, but honestly, the entire series is really fantastic, so definitely check it out. They did a really great job with it.
What's it like being on TV? Because I got a face for radio.
It's no, you don't.
Yes, I do.
And you've been on TV many times, you. It's kind of nerve-wracking a little bit sometimes, just because, you're sharing some very intimate things. And, but the wonderful thing, and the reason why I'm sharing it now, is because a lot of people have emailed me that have been confirmed in their experiences. And I really feel like, that's the reason why I'm doing this. It's in order for people that have a hard time talking about it to be able to get up and talk about it and not feel alone. That's the most important thing. Never feel alone. All of these things are really, truly out there. And you're a piece of a puzzle, an important puzzle to the whole.
Well, that's awesome. How can people get a hold of you in case they need to reach out?
Yes, if you're an experiencer or you believe you're experiencing, connect with me at hybridmother.com. If you want to get a hypnotherapy with me, I do something called holographic hypnotherapy where I tap in and travel with you to connect into your higher self. I also do DNA reprogramming, and you can reach me at geraldineorozco.com. And please do subscribe to my YouTube channel for videos every week.
Awesome, Geraldine. We will talk to you at the beginning of next month, where we will have another great edition of The Spiritual You. GeraldineOrozco.com, BayAreaMeditation.com. When we come back from the break, I'm warming up the magic 8-ball. We'll take your questions in the chat rooms, along with the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio continues after this. Another beautiful show, my lovely Geraldine.
Oh, thank you, Dave. You have an incredible month, and I'm going to send you our lovely website, and we'll connect about that, okay?
Yes, I have to quickly finish my story with you, though.
Oh, yeah, please tell me what happened.
So I woke up the next morning, and it felt like I didn't sleep a wink.
Wow.
And my body was killing me for like 3 days afterwards. And it was horrible.
What did you see? What did you experience?
All I remember was that there was a pair of grays running around, and there was a single gray running around. And it didn't, there was no ship, there was no craft or anything like that. But I know Science Bob McGuire was there. And so I called him up the next day, and I'm like, Bob, how did you sleep last night? And he goes, I woke up like 3 times. And he goes, Sharon, his wife, actually got up because they heard walking in their house. So she went and checked it out. So after I talked to him, he messaged me about 8 hours later, and he had checked his Fitbit. And his Fitbit showed him waking up. His Fitbit showed him waking up 3 times in the middle of the night. Bob has no recollection of that. So a week later, when I had Bob on the air, we were about to talk with on our show, and Bob said, "You're not going to believe this." He goes, "I went and checked the GPS on my Fitbit because I've been so rattled about what you told me, and his GPS actually disappears for 90 minutes."
Oh my goodness, that is insane. Wow. And so, wow, what are you guys going to do about that? That's incredible.
Well, we got aliens. What do you do when you got aliens? You just got to roll with it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. That's amazing. I mean, I've been hearing people having, what kind of grays were they, by the way? Were they tall or short?
No, they were the little guys, like the 4-footers.
Yeah. Wow, Dave, who are you signing contracts with?
I don't know, but I don't like this nighttime stuff. When you've had like you and I are talking right now, we're all awake and we're all kind of hanging on out. And, this is the kind of experience I like. I want to see it. I don't want this nighttime crap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to be able to see it. I have an open invite. I don't want this nighttime stuff. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable.
Sure they're going to heed that call pretty soon. I'm sure they will.
I hope so. Because I want a flight. I want to know what it's like to walk onto a craft and take off for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it is in human time. It might be 10 minutes for me. I want to know what that's like. I want to walk up on that craft. You know what I want to do? My dream. Did you ever watch the movie Field of Dreams? It's one of my favorite movies.
Field of Dreams. Is that by Akira Kurosawa?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's a baseball movie. Kevin Costner.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Sorry, not that one.
Anyways, watch it, because there's a scene in there where James Earl Jones, near the end, was asked to go into the cornfield. where the ghosts of the baseball players come from. And he's asked to write about it. Right? And so I want that feeling. I want that feeling to investigate it, to walk in there and make things happen and see how it happens. I want that. That's what I want. That's my dream.
Okay. I am going to put the intention that you get that. I really hope you do.
Perfect.
I hope you do, but you can manifest it. You have to manifest it.
I've been trying to ever since Samantha and I didn't walk up to the aliens in the forest.
Yes.
So
remember.
That's my fault. My bad.
Wow.
But
right,
anyways, my dear, I have to run here because I have to continue a show. Much love to you. I'll give you a call in the next few days, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Great. Take care, love.
All right. Bye-bye. Geraldine Orozco, everyone. We love her around here. We love her. All right, we got like 30 seconds. Thank you to Human Carl, Dr. Marty, Raz Grizz, and Vinster. Vinster, I did my job again, man. Hey, D Swagger. Hey, Duke, how you doing? Good to have you guys here. Remember, get your questions in because the Magic 8 Ball is warming up. Here we go. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. We want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Now, when we don't go across the nation in Vancouver, right across Canada with the shift, we like to play a new game around here on this night because, you know, there's something a little fun about playing the old Magic 8 Ball. You know, you ask the 8 Ball a question and it just psychically appears to have an answer. So if you're in one of our chat rooms or you're on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio, we definitely can play this game. Now, I have no theme song for it. This is Au Natural Radio here. So we're going to get the questions going. So if you've got a question for the Magic 8 Ball, make sure you type your questions in capital letters so that way I can ask them for you. So I want to know today if I was supposed to die today. Because that little incident that I talked about at the beginning of the show during that high-speed chase kind of freaked me on out. So let's find out from the Magic 8 Ball. Was I supposed to die today? Magic 8 Ball, give us a good straight answer here, shall we? We'll shake it on up, make sure that we have the ability. Here we go. Magic 8 Ball, was I supposed to die today? Magic 8 Ball says, don't count on it. Don't count on it. Look how accurate that is. I was not supposed to die today. You never, ever go wrong with the Magic 8 Ball. Next question comes from Cherie. Should she be moving to Utah? It's a two-parter. Should she be moving to Utah? Let's find out. Magic 8 Ball. Should Cherie be moving to Utah? The answer is, you have my pity. Oh, that doesn't sound good, Cherie. Does not sound good. Let's get to her second part. What about Oregon? What about the state of Oregon? Does anybody really want to move to Oregon these days? As I hit my microphone. Magic 8 Ball. What do you think? Should you go to Oregon? All systems go. All systems go. Cherie, you're heading to Oregon over Utah. Let's move on here with the Magic 8 Ball questions for our audience members. And Mondak wants to know, will aliens visit eastern Montana? I think Mondak wants some aliens here. So we're going to shake it on up. Magic 8 Ball, Mondak wants some aliens. Will he get some aliens in eastern Montana? The answer is reply, hazy, try again. So we're going to take that as a no. You're not going to get any aliens there, Mondak. Duke from World Bigfoot Radio is asking the Magic 8 Ball, is Dogman a Nephilim? Ooh, nice question. Nice question there, Duke. Let's find out. Here we go. Infinitely yes. Dogman is a Nephilim. Infinitely yes. You have your answer, Duke, from the Magic 8 Ball. So there you go. Big Fat Creep wants to know, will I ever see a UFO? Oh, Magic 8 Ball. Let's see how we do here. Big Fat Creep, your answer is yes and beyond. Ooh, that means you're going to get some aliens. That means you're going to get some aliens there, Big Fat Creep. All right, Princess Denali, the official princess of Spaced Out Radio. She is asking the Magic 8 Ball. Oh, where'd the question go? Hold on. There it is. Will I be moving to Paris? Not me personally, but Princess Denali. Will she be moving to Paris? Oh, Magic 8 Ball. Magic 8 Ball says, reply hazy, please try again. Not right now, the Magic 8 Ball is saying. All right, let's see what else we got here from our audience. Chrismo is asking, will Carl the alien come back and be a live guest on Spaced Out Radio? Magic 8 Ball, that's a deep, deep question because Carl and I have issues. Let's see. Ask again later. Of course, because Carl's not even around. That wouldn't make sense. See, the Magic 8 Ball is very, very in tune tonight with what we are doing here. Grandmaster is asking, dear Magic 8 Ball, tell us, are we the Anunnaki? And were we created and watched over by Greys for over 100,000 years and altered our DNA? Deep question from Grandmaster. Let's see how this goes. Magic 8 Ball says, my sources say no. That may not be the answer you wanted, Grandmaster, but we got to trust in the 8 Ball. That is for sure. D. Swiger is asking, will I ever get my mother or my Earth ship community? I don't know what an Earth ship community is, but the Magic 8 Ball will. Shaking it on up. Here we go. The answer is out of fuel, try later. All right. So that means probably not, D. Swiger. Probably not. What else we got? We got time for a couple more here. Devin says, Magic 8 Ball, will I ever get to give Dave a bear hug? I'm feeling positive on this one. Feeling positive. The answer is, you may rely on it. Devin, you may rely on it. And I will take that hug, man. When we're allowed to hug again, I will take that hug. All right, we got time for a couple more here. Big Fat Creep. Well, I live in a... Wish I lived in... Oh, that's just a question there, or a comment. Duke, will Dave ever record an episode with World Bigfoot Radio? I'm saying the Magic 8 Ball finally got one wrong, Duke. It says, don't count on it, but I plan on doing it. I plan on breaking up that. So we're down to about 80% predictiveness for the Magic 8 Ball. Kira is asking, the gorgeous and talented Kira from this beautiful state of Oregon, will aliens visit me tonight? I'm going to give my answer after the Magic 8 Ball. Here we go. Batteries are low. Yeah, we've asked the 8 Ball too many questions. But my theory is you will be visited tonight. I can feel it. I could feel it. So, thank you for everybody playing along here on the Magic 8 Ball. We'll do it again next week, but right now it's time for the news. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR News Wire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the exciting. I am applying for this, and I expect all of you to apply for this as well. Why? Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa invited the public to apply for a spot on SpaceX's Starship in his private mission around the moon, reaching out to a wider, more diverse audience 2 years after announcing he'd only ride with a select group of artists. The trip is currently slated for 2023, but that date might not hold. I want people from all kinds of backgrounds to join in, Maezawa said in a video posted, where the contestant's application went live. Like, we can literally apply for this. It will be 10 to 12 people in all, but I will be inviting 8 people to come along for the ride. Maezawa, the founder of Japan's largest online fashion retailer, is worth about $2 billion. He was revealed as Starship's first signed guest passenger back in 2018 during an event with CEO Elon Musk. At the event, Maezawa, an avid art collector, announced his Dear Moon project, which aimed to bring 6 to 8 artists from around the world to join him in a roughly 6-day lunar flyby mission sometime in 2023. These artists will be asked to create something after they return to Earth, and these masterpieces will inspire the dreamer within all of us. In a YouTube video posted, Maezawa said the plan has since evolved, adding that maybe every single person is doing something creative could be called an artist. Now, anyone who meets 2 criteria could get picked for the ride: those who can push its envelope to help others, people, and greater society in some way, and are willing to support other crew members who share similar aspirations. Project updates have been scant over the last couple of years. In January 2020, Maezawa launched a bizarre campaign to search for a female partner who would accompany him on his trip around the moon. A website for the contest received 27,722 applications, and Japanese streaming service Abima TV was set to document the mission in a reality television show called Full Moon Lovers. However, weeks later, the show was canceled, and Maezawa called off his search due to personal reasons, apologizing to Abima TV and all of the applicants. Starship is SpaceX's next-generation, fully reusable Mars rocket system designed to ferry humans and up to 100 tons of cargo on future missions into deep space. Only early iterations of the rocket have flown so far, with one of two recent high-altitude tests flying as high as 7.8 miles over SpaceX's Starship facilities in Boca Chica, Texas. Both of those tests ended in fiery explosions during their landing attempts. I don't care what anybody says. Elon Musk will make this happen. He will. I'm going to apply for this, and I really think you should too. First, it was getting to Mars in just a few years. Now Elon Musk wants a city to call his own. Until he's able to terraform the Martian planet itself, Musk says he'll resign himself to creating his very own town in Texas. Tuesday afternoon, the eccentric entrepreneur revealed on Twitter that he plans on calling his city Starbase, a nod to his futuristic portfolio with every project he touches. After announcing his intentions through the microblogging platform, Musk then tweeted, "From thence to Mars and hence the stars," with no further explanation. This has led some to believe that he plans on expanding on SpaceX's current presence in the unincorporated Boca Chica village. As of the 2000 census, the village only had 26 residents. Suffice to say, the internet is having a field day with his announcement, tying the entrepreneur's tweets to some of the latest happenings in pop culture. Keep scrolling to see what we're saying, like tweets like, "Moving to Starbase, Texas, and changing my name to Star-Lord," at Elon Musk. Flight Club states, "Probably in the minority here, but I'm not going to lie, I hate this. It sounds cheesy and crap. Also, if this supposedly new name for Boca Chica Village, that sucks even more. Boca Chica is such a great name." Yeah. Wonder if they'd have a high school football team in there. Every town in Texas has one. They would have to. Here's something heroic. Heart-stopping moment in Vietnam where a 2-year-old girl plunged off the 12th floor balcony right into the hands of a delivery driver who is being hailed a hero for saving the young girl's life. Nguyen Ngoc Man was sitting in his vehicle at 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, waiting to make a delivery at the Hanoi high-rise complex where he heard a child crying. At first, he thought a baby was having a tantrum, but when he heard people screaming, he rolled down his window, looked up, and noticed the horror of the child dangling about 160 feet up in the air. The father of two jumped into action and climbed over a 6-foot wall between him and the building, looking for where the child would possibly land. He says, I scaled the wall and saw that she could fall onto the metallic roof of the house used to store electric generators for the complex, so I tried to climb on top of it. I made it, but couldn't firmly stand as the roof was crooked. He lost its footing and slipped when the girl dropped, so he flung himself towards her and miraculously caught her, leaving an impact on the dented roof. The girl was not crying, just staring at Man as blood oozed from her mouth. She looked so much like my child at home. I was so confused, only able to tell her, please, please, I'm here now. Man handed the girl over to a security guard who rushed her to a hospital. I didn't think about it back then much, but I'm happy I am doing something meaningful. After saving the girl, I left without leaving a phone number, though the girl's family managed to contact me a way to inform me of the girl's status, Mon said, whose arm muscles were pulled in the crash. Doctors at the National Children's Hospital said the girl dislocated her hip but suffered no other injuries. God bless this man. Honestly, that is a hero. That is a complete hero. Here's a weird one. I'm telling you, don't take cats flying. Do not take cats flying. All right? A flight from Khartoum, Sudan to Qatar was forced to return to its departure point after a loose cat attacked the pilot shortly after takeoff. The Doha-bound Boeing 737 had been in the air for about 30 minutes when the cat decided to hijack the plane, appearing in the cockpit out of nowhere, and started throwing the typical cat tantrum. It remains unclear how the kitty got into the plane, but it's suspected that it had snuck aboard while the jet was in the hangar overnight for cleaning. Needless to say, the kitty was not pleased proceeded to accost the Sudanese pilot. When attempts to restrain the aggressive critter failed, the crew was forced to make an emergency landing. This sky mall isn't the first time an animal stowaway has caused a ruckus on a plane. A scorpion made headlines in 2019 after stinging a passenger on a United Airlines flight from San Francisco to Atlanta. Moving on, finally, 2 men drinking beers on an inflatable mattress. What could go wrong in Western Australia? Well, let us tell you. Yep, wind picked up. The guys were enjoying the beers. They didn't know what was going on, and they had dragged out 2.5 miles into the Indian Ocean. Jackson Perry and Noah Palmer glad to be alive after their esky full of beers went empty. They decided they were kind of far from land, drifting ever further from shore. They intended to hover about 50 meters from land, but the beer was too good, the conversation was too great, and the next thing they know, they can't see land anywhere. Well, thank goodness they didn't see any shark fins, because they would have made a great meal. This is what happens when you don't pay attention in the ocean. It takes you into its own hands. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. What is the most enlightening experience you've had in your life? Start off with Graham. 1988 portal event, saw a lot of stuff in this vision that lasted over 8 hours in a church. Mick, I'd have to say the birth of my children. That's pretty cool. Birth of my children were fantastic. Anthony, watching my daughter's birth and assisting with the delivery. Absolutely. E.T., receiving divine light from an angel. Carl, the demon named Irritum. Starman, when I discovered we are not alone. Bry, I thought of Dave today. Thank you, Bry. Appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Let's move on here to the next one, where we got James. Let's see here. Under different laws of physics, my back to Earth, going higher and higher. I looked back, saw the planet and humans in different light. We are children. Sylvia, when I witnessed the white tunnel, changed my whole life and thoughts. Stephen, when I got struck by lightning. Wow. Alex, we'll skip that one. Katie, coming to after being hit by a car, I realized that I didn't matter. Only my child did. I finally understood what every parent should be like and how every child should be loved. Still didn't have the tools to be a good parent, but seeing the problem is the first step to healing and learning. Nikki, paranormal-wise, I've had 4. We'll give you 1. Is sources, or God, love, and light, as I call it, touching and going through me into another person while I helped that other person. That's very cool. Mike, I've seen a lot of things along my travels, but my kids, definitely number 1. Captain Shirk, otherwise known as Shirky Poo around here. Other than realizing my kids are miracles, I'm still waiting. Taken as a whole, I expected life to be more spectacular, and due to my overactive imagination so far, it's been pretty ordinary. It's because your glasses are on the top of your head. She always loses her glasses, by the way. So we always have to remind Captain Shirk that her glasses are resting on the top of her head. Science Bob, the day I solved a century-old math problem as an ignorant freshman math student without knowing the significance, that changed my life forever. Andrew, it was getting his first house. Kira, being visited by an angel of light at the age of 7 as it stood over me in bed. Well, that's kind of cool. And Jim, too general. I've had thousands. It's hard to narrow down. So many of my experiences are in the hundreds or the thousands. Well, thank you, Jim, for at least participating. We do appreciate that. And mine, outside of my kids being born, I would say it was the day that I was told how to keep my mother alive from the angel of death. When I channeled him that day, I can honestly say I knew there was a little bit of a journey that I needed to go on. And that's how we started the road to Spaced Out Radio. Thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave. We'll do it all again on Twitter and Facebook tomorrow. Thank you to Captain Shirk for the SOR Newswire, everybody playing along with the Magic 8 Ball, and of course, to the lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco from Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco for the Spiritual You. We will talk to her again next month. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thaw rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, the Space Travelers Club at our website, and of course, all the Snarkers and Snarkats hanging out on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyrighted by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us, because together, my friends, say it with me, we own the night, Mr. Bumblefoot. We need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But tomorrow, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. That was good stuff. Hey, thank you, Alaska's greatest athlete, the gorgeous and stunning Emily Bigelow, for that amazing super chat. I'll tell you what I will do, Emily, just for you, because of that. What I will do is I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break here. And when I get back, I will tell you the story of the Angel of Death, if that's cool. Part 1 and Part 2. Most people forget there's a Part 2 to that. Part 1 and Part 2. If you're cool with that. Are you okay with that? All right. I will be right back. Emily Bigelow needs to respond, otherwise I'm not telling it. Yeah, I'll be right back. All right. So, all right, this is for you, Emily Bigelow, aka Alaska's greatest athlete. Let me just pull this over here. Hold on. Let me just get set up. So, back on December 13th, 2011, coming up 10 years ago, I was having in my house a Christmas dinner for my daughter, who is going to be going away with her mom's parents over a Christmas cruise. I would have seen her gone from like the 15th until like January 6th or something like that, to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. And so I decided that we were going to give my daughter an early Christmas present by having all the family over. She would get all of her Christmas presents. We did up a turkey dinner for her and just made it a very, very special, awesome night for her. And long story short, we had about 25 people in the house that night. And, you know, we had family, like my parents were there, my grandmother was there, my uncle was there, and cousins, and my sisters were there, and my nephews and nieces were there. It was really cool. And so we at about 7:45 that night, my parents decided they were going to head home. And the reason why they were heading home is because Dancing with the Stars was on at 8 o'clock. And Lord knows that why spend time with family when you could go home and watch Dancing with the Stars. As you could tell, I don't. We're a good family, but we're not a close family. And Dancing with the Stars is always a little bit more important than spending family time. So, anyways, I was cleaning up the plates and dishes and glasses in the living room and dining room of my house, and my parents announced they were leaving, and I was kind of pissed off that they were leaving because I knew why, and I thought it was just a cheap ass excuse. And literally, I was a little pissed off about it. And so I went to go into the kitchen area because my mom was in the kitchen saying goodbye to everybody. And I had this doorway in between my kitchen and my dining room / living room where I was. So I put the dirty glasses and dishes on the dining room table, and I go to step into the kitchen when I noticed that there was no sound being made. And there was no sound on the television where everybody was kind of gathered around watching the Canucks play Columbus. And my mom was on the other side of the doorway, and I kind of had my arms open, you know, like you would to give someone a hug. And then everybody was standing still. There was no sound on the television. I look into my mom's eyes, and she's like, 18 inches away from me. And my mother's beautiful blue eyes were jet black, and her pupils were white. My mother has these beautiful blue eyes, and now I'm staring into jet black eyes with white pupils. And I kind of turned my head, kind of like, what the hell is this? And my mom all of a sudden kind of got this look of shock on her face, kind of like, oh, you see me. And she shook her head, and she opened her eyes, and her eyes went back to being blue. Well, in that time, I started getting sick to my stomach and wanted to bawl my eyes out because I knew right then and there. And I don't know how. People have asked me, well, how do you know? And the truth is, I don't know. But I just knew. and I knew I was staring into the eyes of the angel of death. So I went down the hallway to the master bedroom, and my partner came down the hallway. She goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I just saw the angel of death in my mother's eyes." And my partner's spiritual, and she's like, "Oh, are you all right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not right now." So she's like, "Okay, well, why don't your parents are leaving? Why don't you come say goodbye, and then we will talk about this later when everybody goes home." So I'm like, "Okay, fine." So, anyways, a couple of hours later, everybody is gone. The kids are in bed, and I end up. My partner takes. We go and I go into our living room, and what happens then is she sets up these candles on the table in between us, and I sat on the love seat, and right across from me, she sat on the couch. And she goes, "Why don't you just kind of relax and kind of go back and tell me what you saw?" So as I started explaining what I saw, that's when I started channeling the angel of death. And I've never channeled before up until that point. And I literally was listening to these messages coming from the angel of death, and it was really, really trippy, man. It was really trippy, and I don't know how else to explain it other than I was giddy with the process, but I didn't quite understand really what was going on. And so I ended up, this is what I recall from that conversation. The angel of death said through me, the entire incident lasted, the channeling session lasted about 38 minutes. Originally, we had a recording of that. However, thank you to Apple's iPhone updates, back with the old iPhone 3s, it didn't, her phone crashed, or my phone crashed, and we ended up losing the audio. So anyways, the angel of death said through me that I was not supposed to see him, but because I did, he felt he owed me an explanation. And that explanation is as follows. He told me point blank that my mother was indeed quite ill. And see, what happened was, over time, my mother is a 2-time cancer survivor. And the one thing that I can say about my mom is, during this time when she was going through her treatments and everything for cancer, my mother became addicted to the sympathy. And this is gonna sound really horrible as a child, when you think about your parents, and I still kick myself in the butt for this. Okay, but you'd call up my mom, like I'd call up my mom on the phone, and she would answer it, and she'd be like, "Hello," just like anything, like just sounding normal, and you'd be like, "Hey mom, it's me. How's it going?" "Oh my God, I am so sore. The pain. I'm in so much pain." Everything was about pain, for like 3-4 years. We just got sick and tired of hearing it. Like, you couldn't have a conversation with my mom without hearing about the pain and the suffering. Well, what happens is, when you go through something like that, you actually start to tune out your parents. And that's what happened. is I started tuning out my mom. My sisters started tuning out my mom, and um, it uh, it was it was sad in a way that this was even happening. But the angel of death said to me point blank that my mom was indeed quite ill, and that if we as a family didn't start treating her with more love and respect, that he was going to take her home. He didn't say heaven, he didn't say hell. All he said was take her home. And so I took that message quite literally, talked to my sisters about it. I couldn't talk to my dad about it at the time because my dad is quite a five senses kind of guy. And, if it's not the battle of politics, hockey, or Coke versus Pepsi, he really doesn't want to hear it. And so, talked to my family about it, and we all agreed. Well, my mom, 10 years later, nearly, is still alive after I did exactly what the angel of death told me to do. So that's when all of a sudden everything started changing in my life. Within a couple of days, our house became haunted. There were ghosts everywhere. I started getting premonitions about things that were going to happen. And premonitions, some of them came true. Nothing bad like 9/11 type crap or anything like that, but just premonitions from like around my friends, my family, and things like that. I started becoming all of a sudden very intuitive, and it was getting kind of real, right? That this stuff was going on. And so I'm kind of going through this, wondering what's going on. A few months later, I had another run in with the angel of death. When that part happened with my partner's grandmother. And so what happened there was I got called by my partner at work saying that, that her grandmother was dying and we had to go to the hospice like that moment, like because she could go at any time. And we lived out of town, so I raced home, picked her up, and then we went to out of town to where her grandmother's hospice was. And we walked in there, and immediately when we walked into her bedroom, grandma is lying on the hospital bed, and she's doing this really weird breathing pattern. She looks like, literally, and I mean this pun intended, that death had swarmed over her. And the minute I walked in that room, I could feel the energy of the angel of death around. It was the same energy that I recognized from this channeling experience. So I started taunting him. Started saying, okay, where are you? I know you're here. Talk to me. Talk to me. Like, you're here. And I'm saying this telepathically. For some reason, I thought that would work. About 2 hours later, I'm standing with my partner. My partner's on the right. I have my arm around her shoulder. She's bawling her eyes out. And literally from where I am right now to where my microphone is, if I'm standing in front of the bed here, here's the bed, here's grandma's feet. That's how close I am to her. And I don't know this lady from Adam. I have no emotional tie to her or anything. Only met her a few times, so I'm the only one in the room there kind of hanging out and just kind of like going with the flow with what's going on. And anyways, I'm staring at it and I'm calling out the angel of death, and I'm staring down at the grandmother, and all of a sudden I see her spirit leave her body. And it was like the angel of death held her spirit. So if grandma's lying down, this football-shaped white cloud kind of had swirls in it, is hovering right over her chest. And I'm staring at this because I have a feeling I'm the only one who is seeing this right now. And it was almost like the angel of death answered my tauntings, that it was like, okay, asshole, this what you want to see? Is this what it's all about? Is this what's going to make you believe? And the spirit, all of a sudden, I watched the spirit all of a sudden shoot like a bullet right through the ceiling of the roof, and the angel of death energy just died like that. And I was like, no pun intended there. And I was like, and I literally yelled out, holy shit. And I pulled my partner outside and I said, your grandma's gone. And she's like, no, she's still breathing. She could still make it. And I'm like, no, your grandmother is gone. I just watched her spirit leave her body. And she's like, what? I'm like, and I was laughing. I was so excited to have seen that I was laughing, kind of in a happy laugh. And I'm like, it was the most unbelievable thing. I literally saw her spirit hover over her body and then all of a sudden take off right through the ceiling. And she's like, well, she's still breathing. I know. I said, I know, but she's not there. Grandma's gone. She went home. Right? And walked into the room, and like 9-10 minutes later, she breathed her final breath and watched her die. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was the first time I had seen someone die right in front of me. And it was, I'll be honest with you, it was healing for me because I have such a fear of death. So, I mean, it was a profound moment that the angel of death literally did that for me and let me see it. Let me see it happen. So, those are my 2 encounters with the angel of death. And Brian, when you say angel of death, can you please elaborate and explain what you mean? No, there was no entity. It was an energy that you feel. Brian, your Mets sunk eat donkey turds, by the way. It was an energy that you feel. The only time I saw any of it was in my mother's eyes. That was the only time when I saw the black pupils or the black eyes with the white pupils. Right? That was the only time. I never saw a figure or anything like that. I never saw that. All I saw was the eyes in my mother's eyes and then the energy that was around it. I would say that he was very peaceful, very loving. And hello, Thurston Howell III. And, at that point, I wasn't really interested in UFOs or aliens. But that ended up coming later. I will never forget that look, dude. I will never forget that look on what I saw. It was, as weird as it sounds, I hope I never see it again. I wasn't afraid by it or anything like that, but I really hope that I never see it again because that means that somebody's going away. Wish I would have seen it with my nephew because I could have prepared a little bit more. But he was on his own path. Hi, Denny. How are you? Good to see you. Hi, Nikki. Ange, how are you? Thurston Howell III. How you doing? Tina Lunar Sparkles, good to see you. Who am I missing here? Slim, how's it going? Yeah, so the aliens came. The aliens came after I was working with my spiritual guru named Pascal, who still will not come on this show. Says he's not ready to express his knowledge just yet. But I hope he does one day, because I would love to share Pascal with you. He's literally one of the most amazing people I have ever met on this planet. In my book that I'm writing about my experiences, I dedicate an entire chapter to Pascal. And but he all of a sudden started saying to me one day, oh yes, I did channel my nephew. I'll get to that. Yeah, I'll get to that right now. So when my nephew passed away and I found out about it, I was literally in the studio here on July 18th, 2018, when I found out that he had died. And the next night I was absolutely hit with panic. Like he didn't know where he was, what he was doing, what had happened, or anything like that. So I called up Samantha Mowat and told her what happened, and I said, Sam, I think I need to go to the other side to help him move on. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? I said, just she goes, do you want me on the phone with you? And I'm like, no, I think I can handle it, but just in case, just check up on me. I'll check up with you afterwards. And I talked to my daughter, and my daughter's very intuitive. And I said to my daughter, I said, this is what I'm doing. You want to go with me? So she goes, sure. So I astral traveled over to where my daughter lives, and she lives about 3.5, 4 hours away from me. And picked her up. She had never astral traveled before. Picked her up, and we went looking for my nephew. The only thing that I knew about my nephew was that he was found in a park, and it was in Vancouver. Well, my daughter and I go and we find this bench, and we see him sitting there. And how you do it, this is the only way I can explain how it happens. Okay, and I'm not perfect with this, so please don't take my words for verbatim. And I said my nephew's name was Bryce, and I used to call him Stu. So for anybody, like, here's just a little sidebar. For anybody, when you see Stu Gerson come into the chat room, I don't know Stu Gerson from Adam, but you'll always see me kind of beat my chest and then point at him like that. That's because every time I called my nephew as a nickname, I called him Stu. And so every time I see Stu Gerson in the chat room, just seeing his first name Stu, it gives me a little bit of a reminder of my nephew. So that's why I give the tap and the point out of pure love. And so anyways, I picked up on my nephew's energy, and I just kind of followed it. And, my daughter was with me in the astral, and we And we're kind of flying around looking for him. And we found him sitting on a park bench. And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, Stu, how you doing?" And he goes, "Hey, Uncle." He never called me Uncle Dave. He always called me just Uncle. He goes, "Hey, Uncle." I'm like, "How you doing, bud?" And he goes, "Where am I?" And I said, "Buddy, you died." And he's like, "What?" And I said, "I'm here to help you." And he goes, "How are you here?" I said, "Well, Uncle has some strange stuff that he can do. So I just came by to make sure you were okay." But the cool part about it was my 3 grandparents who passed away were there. And what was really cool about it was my mom's mom, who was my first grandparent to pass away. I never have seen her ever on the other side. I've seen both my grandfathers, but never my grandmother. And my grandmother was there, and she had the biggest smile on her face because my sister was pregnant with my nephew at my grandmother's funeral in 1988. And so I went, "Hey, Grandma, how are you?" And she, "Hi, David." And all I got was a smile after that. And I said, "Are you guys here to help Bryce?" And they're like, "Yes, we can handle this from here." So I explained to my nephew before I let him go. I took him and I gave him a big hug along with my daughter. I gave him a big hug and I explained to him that he's got to go say goodbye and to a number of people, and he can take as much time as he wants to say goodbye. And I joined him. I took him to my parents' house first and let him showed him how to get there. I took him to my sister's house, his aunt, and I showed him how to get there. But all he had to do was think about it, and boom, he'd be there. And then I took him to his dad's house, and him and his dad had a tough relationship. But I took him to his dad's house, and took him there. And then I took him over to his mom's house, my sister, and I said, "This is where you need to stay for a little bit." And I said, "You need to hold your mom. You need to hold your mom." And then I said I would see him soon, and that he was in good hands. Then my daughter and I left with him at my sister's house. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool when you can do that. And I thank my friend Pascal for helping me with that ability. I don't do it often, but I know I can if I need to. And astral travel is just a real is a real how can you put it? It's a real easy thing to do when you just relax your mind and know that you have to do it. And you know that this is something that is important, that needs to be done. And so that's what I did. I don't know how I do it. I don't even know half this shit that I have experienced or have gone through or just know how to do. I don't even know how to explain how to do it. Like, I couldn't sit one of you down and tell you how to do it. It does take practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. I don't do it often. It's weird. I almost do it like when it's almost like a panic situation, right? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and my nephew is a pretty awesome guy, and it just sucks when you're there when they're born and you're there when they die. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I really wouldn't. Do I meditate and listen to certain tones? No. No, I don't. I don't. So you just have to, Larry, I'm sorry about your mom, by the way. You just have to tune into their energy. It's just like, probably the easiest way, and there's more intuitive people in the chat room than I am, but it's kind of like, when you're going to get a phone call from a friend or a family member, or when someone's going to just show up at your house or something like that, and you can pick up on that energy. I think we've all experienced that. When you're like, "Hey, I haven't heard from so and so in a while," and like 10 minutes later they call. That's what it's like. It's picking up on that energy that really, really, you have to tune into that frequency. I don't know how else to put it. I'm going to use the word frequency. You have to tune into that frequency to astral travel, in my opinion. It's the easiest way to put it. And when you tune into that frequency, you can pick it up and you can travel to it. You just relax your body, your mind, at least I close my eyes because I want to envision it. And that's what we do. That's what we do. So that's the cool part. You get to do it. You get to do it. Anybody can do it, man. Anybody can do it. And that's the truth of it all. Anybody can do it. You don't have to have any special powers. You don't have to have any special gifts or anything along those lines. You just go and do it. It's friggin' cool. It's really cool. So oh, here's the new one from the cancel culture just coming out. If you haven't heard this already, the cancel culture wants to ban the hit movie Grease, condemning it for being sexist, homophobic, and slut shaming. So that's the next one. They're calling the lack of yeah, I'm not even gonna get into this. This cancel culture stuff is getting wacky. Now Grease is on it. How fun is that? So, and Nikki, Dave, have you ever been pulled out unexpectedly into astral by anyone or anything? Not to my knowledge. I've had pretty good control of it. Thank you, gorgeous Emily Bigelow, Alaska's greatest athlete. I know you roll your eyes every time I say that. Hey Xavier, how you doing? Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think we're done. I think we're good. I think we're done. I'm going to go to bed. I got to work in the morning. But I love each and every one of you. Thank you for listening to my stories. Thank you, Emily, Alaska's greatest athlete, for making me open up tonight. That's pretty cool of you. We'll do it soon, everyone. We'll do it soon. We'll do it again. Thank you to Emily, to Human Carl, Dr. Marty, Raz Grizz, and Vinster ×2 for the super chats. Thank you to everyone for being as awesome as you are, for showing on up. Tomorrow night on the show, Jill Shelley is going to tell us about the haunted house she bought. Oh, yeah. Real life woo tomorrow. Paranormal Talk, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Saturday the 13th. Apparently, I'm recording a show with Dr. Duke. Talk about some cryptid woo. We'll see you all tomorrow. Love each and every one of you. And thank you to our new subscribers as well. You guys all take care. We'll do it all again very soon. Good night.